The Oklahoma Sooners are tough, and it's tough to stay #1 in the nation. Propelled by missile-throwing quarterback Jason White, they continue to be the leaders of the pack. The Sooners have a defensive front line that wreaks havoc on quarterbacks. But Missouri quarterback Brad Smith is one of the best in the conference. A team leader who could hurt you on the ground. And into the end zone. Missouri took care of Nebraska. Today they fly into Norman to battle the #1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners. The top 2 division leaders in the Big 12. Up next on Fox Sports Net. It is a classic football Saturday in Big 12 country. How does that look? I don't think it gets any better than that as far as I'm concerned. We are in Norman, Oklahoma. Gaylord Memorial Stadium on the campus of the University of Oklahoma's Fox Sports Net Southwest presents Big 12 football. And this evening, the 24th ranked Missouri Tigers taking on the #1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Myers alongside Gary Reasons, and welcome once again to Big 12 football on Fox Sports Net. Great football weather, and what a matchup. The 2 leaders in the Big 12 North and South divisions, and Missouri is coming off, without a doubt, their biggest win over the last 25 years, upsetting #10 Nebraska last Saturday. And it's not a shock that they were led by quarterback Brad Smith, the Big 12's Offensive Player of the Week.
Well, he had a breakout game last week, Joel, against Nebraska. Just a great performance by Brad Smith, and he needs to do that and continue that. Last week, 3 rushing touchdowns for that young man. Just a superlative effort. And I tell you, last year against this Oklahoma football team, I think he embarrassed Oklahoma Sooners defensively. They couldn't tackle him, and I think he's going to have that kind of a spectacular night again tonight for Missouri to do well.
Well, it's been a spectacular season for the other quarterback tonight. That's Jason White of the Oklahoma Sooners. He is one of the great stories in all of college football. He has torn both ACLs. He's missed the last 2 years. He leads the nation coming in passing efficiency, and he also should be the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy.
No doubt about it. Hands down, he is the leader right now for the Heisman Trophy. 20 touchdown passes so far for Jason White in this season. The young man has come in and exceeded all expectations. The 2 injuries you spoke about, he has just performed at a high level. No one has performed like that at Oklahoma in quite a long time. Jason White is leading this football team, and I tell you, he's a great one to watch out there, Joe.
So a lot of people wonder, can Mizzou pull off the back-to-back upsets after Nebraska last week, #10, now Oklahoma, #1? Probably a lot of people are feeling the last time they did that, a guy from Independence, Missouri was in office, Harry Truman. Can the Tigers get it done? We'll find out over the next 3.5 hours in Norman. But first, to our College Football Saturday studio show in Los Angeles with Mike Goldberg. Mike.
Joel, Gary, we look forward to the call. Should be a great football game. Welcome back inside our College Football Saturday studios. Alongside the Hall of Famers, Kellen Winslow, Billy Ray Smith, I'm Mike Goldberg. Let's get caught up around the Big 12 hookup. Record-setting quarterback B.J. Simmons and Texas Tech. They're at #23 Oklahoma State. Texas A&M is at Nebraska, and that is a final. Nebraska, 8 takeaways, tying a school record. They win 48-12. #20 Texas, Iowa State. Mac Brown improves to 6-0 in the game after the Oklahoma game. 40-19 final there. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, the aforementioned game. Now there's about 12 minutes remaining, so there is time, and there is time for BJ to have his way. The Cowboys going for their 10th straight home win. Kansas State victorious today. The Wildcats snap their 3-game losing streak. They win 49-20, and Kansas goes to 5-2. Baylor falls to 0-30 all-time in Big 12 Conference road games. Kellen, back to Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Now, since Oklahoma State lost their opener against Kansas State, they seem to be getting better and better and better each week.
And that's because they've got a lot of talent in Shaw at running back and Tatum Bell, and, of course, Rashawn Woods at wide receiver. But Texas Tech, this is their biggest matchup of the year, and right now we know they can score. We don't know if they can stop anybody.
Yeah, and that's exactly where you see Texas Tech falling short. I mean, all the talk is about B.J. Simmons and the hundreds of yards. He had 3 straight 500-yard gains. You know, you got to have a defense, and maybe they'll start going out and recruiting some of these players to play a little defense out in Lubbock. Otherwise, they're just going to score a lot of points and lose a lot of games.
It was the number 2 offense in the nation against the number 5 offense in the nation. As I mentioned, still about 10 minutes left in that game now, so we will see what happens. BJ still has time to work it. Looking at the leader of the Oklahoma's vaunted defensive unit, senior linebacker, there's number 11, Teddy Lehman, number 24, Missouri. At number 1, Oklahoma, the kickoff is forthcoming. Welcome back to College Football Saturday, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. There they are, the number 1 team in the nation, 6-0, Oklahoma, at home in a Big 12 showdown against Missouri. Coming up in just a matter of moments now, Billy Ray Smith. Last week, Vince Young of Texas did have a bit of success against that Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, so I got to think that Missouri's got to feel pretty good. You know, I think that they've kind of taken the shackles off of their quarterback, Brad Smith, and let him run a little bit. The improvisational game is going to work much better against this Oklahoma defense.
Indeed, we've talked about Brad Smith and what he can do, but the key is going to be Zach Abram, the big tailback, controlling the ball, keeping the third down chain moving, keeping Oklahoma off the field.
We'll talk a lot about it coming up at the half on the Sonic Halftime Report. Time now, though, to get to Norman, Oklahoma. Joel Myers, Gary Reasons have the call. Can Zach get zooming today? After the break, we send you out to the kickoff of number 1 Oklahoma at number 24 Missouri.
Norman, Oklahoma. What a way for college football. Big 12 style on Fox Sports Net. Gary Pinkel in his 3rd season, all of a sudden things falling into place. Didn't have the team speed early, now he's got it. And I don't know, Gary Reasons, has anybody been as dominant in college football to start a career as Bob Stoops? You got to go back to Bud Wilkinson maybe here in Oklahoma.
The numbers that he has put up here in his tenure has just been tremendous, and I agree, Joel. No one has come close to what Bob Stoops has done here at Oklahoma.
DiCarlo takes the return game as back deep. It was Sherdanya Mitchell. He'll keep it in the end zone for the Missouri Tigers, and here we go. Missouri, can they stay close as a huge underdog? How you like to come off an upset like they had last week over Nebraska, win it 41-24, and then come in a massive underdog the next week to the number 1 team in the nation. Here we go with Brad Smith, that quarterback, the sophomore from Youngstown, Ohio. The Big 12's offensive freshman of the year last season. 1st and 10 at his own 20 with Abram in the backfield, and I agree with Kellen Winslow, a former Missouri Tiger All-American. It's got to be Abram today. He's got to get a good start. Smith on the edge and throws it away. So it'll be 2nd and 10 after they went with the play fake. Brad Smith, what a week he had against Nebraska. Accounted for 4 scores, ran for 3, threw for 1, 8 over 2 so far this year, hitting almost 64% of his passes. Dregge the best up there with Palmer, Ricker, Young, and Sanchez. Ricker, a lot of starts, just like Rob Dregge, an Outland Trophy candidate on the left side. Abram in the backfield, Coffey and Boga and Outlaw, the wide receivers, and J.D. McCoy is the tight end. We'll also see Victor Cisse at that position. Now Smith calling his own number. Big yardage across the 25, gets 8, almost 9. It'll bring up 3rd and short against the 3rd best defensive unit in the nation. And they're led by Tommy Harris up front. He can win all kinds of awards this year with Jackson, Dvorak, and Cody, but watch Tommy Harris, 97. He's active for a 300-pounder. Dennison Chambers, and how about Teddy Lehman? Is he a Butkus Award winner? He was one of the 3 finalists last year. In the secondary, Perkins and Strait. You can't throw against them all that well. And Nicholson and Everidge are the safeties. The Yamaha starting 11 offensively and defensively. And already, Missouri is going to call a timeout. So Missouri, indecisive when they came up to the line personnel-wise against the package that Oklahoma displayed.
Yeah, but to see what Gary Pinkel is attempting to do here early in the football game, getting Brad Smith, give him a chance to get out on the edge and make some plays, get the ball in his hands. Take a look at what I think Missouri has to do to win this football game. Obviously, Abram running the football, and Brad Smith, as we're talking about here early, get on the perimeter and make some plays. And I think they have to make the OU offense one-dimensional. I really don't care what they do. Make them throw the ball, run the ball, so they can concentrate on one area of that offensive football team. There's a lot of balance on the offense side of the ball for Oklahoma. And then find some magic plays. Joel's, I think those are interceptions, fumbles, big plays in the kicking game. Anything that can turn the momentum back to Missouri and take it away from Oklahoma here.
Last week against Nebraska in the 17-point victory. Another come-from-behind win, the 3rd of the season for the Missouri Tigers. Nebraska went into the game number 1 in the nation in total defense, and Missouri had better than 450 yards against the Black Shirts. Well, as I said, that's 25 years they've lost to Nebraska.
And that's a confidence builder for Missouri and Gary Pinkel and his football team. There's no doubt about that. When you beat Nebraska, doesn't matter where you beat them, in the backyard, on the playground, or at your home park. That's a great win for that football team.
Missouri comes in, and Kellen was just talking about it with Mike Goldberg and Billy Ray Smith on the pregame show. Zach Abrams got to be a key today. And Missouri is number 7 in the nation in yards per carry, 5.1 every time they run the football. That has to hold up today. Can they negotiate 2 now? And will Abrams touch the football? They've got men in the backfield. It's a play fake. Now can Smith make the play? No. Off the fingertips of Victor Cisse. Incomplete to the tight end.
Well, the thing that Brad Smith is going to see all day long is the Oklahoma defense, how fast they are, the speed that they have in their secondary and their linebackers to cover receivers. That's the thing that makes them special on defense. They're able to cover in the secondary, and also their front four has been the most productive in college football this year.
Those last guys we just saw in the Oklahoma stands, I was looking for a cup of coffee earlier. I think they got all the caffeine here. So now punt coming up in the punting game. Brock Harvey. Gary Pinkel said the punting units really killed us. Can Harvey get a good one going? Derek Strait waits. He returns free against UCLA from the 30, giving ground. And going to get to the outside. No. Slips down, giving up about 5 yards. He'll go down to the 27. Great coverage and a super punt for Harvey. He needed it of 42 yards.
They've been very inconsistent in the punting game, and that's a big plus for Missouri to kick the ball and no return yards on the return for Oklahoma.
So they'll put it down to the 28-yard line. And here comes that great story in Jason White. Tore his left ACL in 2001, his right ACL last year. Now he's a leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy, so don't go out and try to tear your ACL just to get into the film room, because that's what he obviously did. He not only stayed with his physical therapy, but he was really a workaholic when it came to film study. Now, will it be a screen? They set it up to the wide receiver. Big yardage and a first down. Across the 40 to the 45, Jawan Rankins, a sophomore from Windsor, North Carolina. He's second in the squad when it comes to getting into the end zone. And offensively, Jason White, 20 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, leading the nation in passing efficiency. Sims, Shushan, Carter, Joseph Brown, a ton of experience up front. We'll go over all the starts for this offensive line. Works in the backfield, Clayton, Rankins, Jones, the wide receivers, and the tight end. And they'll use him. Here's Donley. Nothing doing on the running play for Works. So Works shut down on his first try. No gain on the carry. And the defensive 11 brought to you by Yamaha, the Missouri Tigers. Smith leads the front 4 with 6 sacks. Mosley has 4. Ville had an interception last week. Ellison, the underneath tackle as well. And Barnes Kinney leads the Tigers in stops along with Jason Simpson. Washington and Harden to the corners. Dietrich Harrington along with Nino Williams are the safeties. So now it's going to be 2nd and 10 just outside of the 42. White, not very mobile, didn't have to be. Will Peoples, and another first down to the 39-yard line. So they move the pocket by design. When he gets out on the edge, you don't worry about a naked bootleg.
Well, you mentioned play design. That's what they utilize there on that offensive formation. Design plays at work, and they've got some good ones here, this Oklahoma football team. And for Oklahoma, there's some key things they need to do, Joel, to win this football game. Offensively, you're going to see that there's a lot of balance on this football team. Run the football, pass it. With Jason White, he's been so efficient. And I think defensively, they don't want to allow Missouri to have big plays and obviously contain Brad Smith, and no room for error. They want to play error-free football, which they've done all year long.
Quick count. Works trying to bend it to the boundary. Bam. He lost the football. It's on the ground. They say he's down. A break for Oklahoma after a gain of close to 5 down to the 34-yard line. So Ronaldo Works, a senior from Tulsa, who's coming off a career best last week, 112 yards against Texas, Gary.
Well, you take a look at Ronaldo coming in. The ball does hit the ground and it pops out. The ground did cause the fumble there, so it's a non-fumble actually. But Oklahoma spreading the field here. They've got 5 wide receivers in the game. They've done that a couple times here already, trying to spread the field against Missouri early.
White over the middle. It's complete, close to a first down at the 29-yard line. Taking it in, Mark Clayton, the junior from Arlington, Texas, brought down quickly by Brandon Barnes.
Joe, you talked about the offensive line and how productive they've been. They've kept Jason White very clean this year. What I mean by that offensive line is protected very, very well. You see the up front pocket there that he has to throw to Clayton. You know, if he's able to throw like that without anybody in his face tonight, Jason White has shown that he's an accurate passer. Only 3 interceptions on the year. 2 of those were when he was being hit, and 1 was a Hail Mary. So he really hasn't made a bad throw all year.
They only need about a half yard. Keep the drive alive at the Missouri 29. Over to the left side, getting outside a first down for Wirtz. He's all the way down to the 23 with a flag down. You'll see a face mask. I think somebody got him by the cage. Over there on the stop was Brandon Barnes, along with Calvin Washington.
Well, the way this set up, it looked like that Ronaldo Wirtz was going to be stopped, and actually his pulling guard fell down on the play, and Ronaldo just read it to the outside.
15 yards, in this case, half the distance, automatic, first down.
Face mask tacked on at the end of the play, but Ronaldo does a good job of reading it to the outside. He's got enough speed. I saw him here as a freshman 4 years ago, and he broke onto the scene and did a great job early in his career, and hasn't had the, you know, the quality starts and quality time because of a Quentin Griffin who they lost this year. Graduated a year ago, that great tailback, but now the combination of Ronaldo Wirtz and Kewan Jones in that backfield keep the running game alive for the Sooners.
Now the Sooners now have it inside the 13, and Gary, this is exactly what Missouri didn't want and didn't need. The ball all the way back at the Oklahoma 28, and they're making it look easy on the opening possession.
Well, they have scored on every opening possession so far in each football game this year, and they're up for one more time again.
Hickson's in the backfield for the first time. White out of the gun, a little shovel toss. Nothing doing. Trying to sprint to the outside. It was Hickson. Making the stop for Missouri, Nino Williams out of the secondary, so maybe a yard at the most down to the 12.
Yeah, last week against Texas, Dante Hickson had some big plays in that football game, getting some chances here early in this game. But you see what Oklahoma does. They have so much balance offensively. Run the football, do the play action pass, make the throws for Jason White efficient where he's not throwing the ball down the field. Hey, everyone is performing at a high level at Oklahoma right now.
So now it's going to be second and long. Second and just about 9. White on the quick one, and threw it behind his man. A break that it wasn't intercepted. He wanted Rankins.
Yeah, Rankins wasn't even ready for the throw, and he throws it behind him, but Rankins really is trying to go to a little slim post here, and he's trying to set up the cornerback. Take a look on the right side of the screen. He's going to come up and cut inside, and watch the ball delivered behind him, and he thought he was going to continue straight, but he's trying to go to the post, as I mentioned.
Michael Hart, the senior from Kansas City, the defensive back for Mizzou, had a better shot at it. So a big third down for Missouri. It would be a pick-me-up if they could hold Oklahoma to a field goal try here. How about those numbers last week against Texas? Almost 300 yards passing. He only threw 4 passes in the fourth quarter because of the blowout. Out of the gun. It's coming. They pick it up over the middle. Deflected. And pass interference is called. Coming through the wide receiver, Travis Wilson. They called it on Nino Williams, I believe, the free safety.
Yeah, contact before the ball's delivered, and I think that's a good call in the end zone. Take a look here, right behind Jason White. It's going to be right on the O in the back of the end zone. You can see Nino Williams hit him right there before the ball got there, and that's definitely pass interference. Going to be a first down.
Pass interference, defense, automatic first down on the 2-yard line.
It was close, but it was a good call. As you mentioned, he got there just a split second early. So now, 4.5 minutes gone by in the first 15 minutes of play. Missouri went 3 and out with a punt. Oklahoma from their own 28. First and goal at the Missouri 2.
Yeah, it's tough to match up with this Oklahoma football team. They've got so much talent. Their wide receivers are good. Their tight ends are good. Their running backs are good. And their offensive line, we talked about early, they are playing very well right now.
From the 2, slide the H-back. Hammering up the middle. Kewan Jones. He's down to the 1. Just inches away. Sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma. So they're about to go 7 for 7 on opening possession so far this season.
Yeah, trying to bang it in there. For Missouri now defensively, hey, this could be a big stand for them. A goal line stand would be a momentum builder, as you mentioned a minute ago, Joel. If they can stop them here, which is tough work because they've got 3 more downs here to punch it into the end zone. But Missouri, if they can find a way to make a play against this Oklahoma team, hey, that'll give them a little bit of a boost.
In the eye, Jones, the tailback, will get it again. And did he get there? No. Inches shy. It'll be 3rd and goal as they lined up Tommy Harris, the nose tackle, at the tight end spot.
Yeah, the coaches told us that they would do that sometimes with Tommy Harris on the line of scrimmage. Take a look, the big guy there trying to block to the outside and open the hole for Kewan. Not a good block. Good job on the defensive front by Zach Ville, beating that block and coming in there and making a play on Kewan Jones. A year ago, Joel, Kewan Jones was their short yardage back and scored quite a few touchdowns for the Sooner football team.
Good job by Brandon Barnes as well. Some receiver from Sykeston get his pads underneath the running back, push in back. Now Wirtz takes over. 3rd and goal Ronaldo works. He's in. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Runnels, the H-back, providing the big block. And the Sooners march 72 yards to start the day. Works was looking for somebody to hit him.
Really nothing. Good job that time, as you mentioned, by J.D. Runnels, their fullback. He's a special player for this football team on the lead play on the score.
So a little more than 4.5 minutes off the clock on the drive. Trey DeCarlo. He has missed 2 extra points this year. He is perfect on his first try today. And we're about 6 minutes into the first quarter. Oklahoma impressively starting the contest on their home field, the #1 team in the nation, with a 7-0 lead over Missouri. Fall Saturday presented by Dr. Pepper on Fox Sports Net. All brought to you by Dr. Pepper. BU, nothing's better. It's Dr. Pepper. By Sonic. It's not just good. It's Sonic good. By SBC Yahoo DSL. Get what you need faster. And by Jiffy Lube, the well-oiled machine, like my partner Gary Reason.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the Oklahoma offense is a well-oiled machine. That is a very efficient drive by the Sooners, marching down the field on their first possession, as they've done each game now this season so far.
You know, when you face Oklahoma, do they offer you a blindfold and a cigarette? It is tough when you come into Norman. They are that good. We talked about the run that Bob Stoops has had here. So now going back deep, Roberson again, along with Jardanya Mitchell. But DeCarlo put it about 8 yards in. It's amazing what he has done. Big 12 championship game last year, on their way to a win at the Rose Bowl. And what a thrill for a school from the Big 12 to begin with to be in the Rose Bowl. And they took care of business there. So DeCarlo will kick it away. Roberson, we just saw waiting. And both guys now into the end zone. It's like downwind behind DeCarlo. And will they bring it out? No, Weiser. It'll stay in the end zone with Mitchell. So Missouri, for the second consecutive time, and for the sake of their defensive unit, they've got to get at least 1 first down.
They've got to move the football, get a couple first downs, keep that defense off the field. Hey, they've got to find some confidence. They've got to get something moving against a very talented Oklahoma defense. That's not easy to do, but somehow they've got to find a way to get it done.
Well, Missouri does not beat themselves. Let's face it. They're right there in the top 5 in fewest penalties, but maybe more impressively than anything else they do, #1 in the nation in fewest turnovers.
Well, sometimes it's okay. If you don't make the first downs, go ahead and punt the football. But you see a potent offense like Oklahoma, it's going to be a long day if they continue at that level.
Bouncing outside for the Tigers. Zach Abram, decent yardage. He's got a little more than 3, almost 4. Well, our Bank of America higher standards. This defensive unit, #3 overall in the nation. They shut you down across the board, though.
Turnover margin, tremendous, 2+ in that category, and pass efficiency. You can't throw it against them. So what do you do? Well, you just try to draw something up that works.
Very deep set for the senior from Lake St. Louis, Missouri. I will mention all Big 12 last year. Zach Abram. And a change at the line by Brad Smith. Abram came in needing 420 yards to become the all-time leading rusher in Missouri history. Abram going low, gets the first down they needed across the 30-yard line.
Well, he counted the defensive backs in the backfield, and he saw that he had one linebacker, and he audibled down on the line of scrimmage for Abram to come to the weak side. And good job that time by Brad Smith, controlling things at the line of scrimmage and putting his offense in a play that's going to give him positive yardage. And like you said, Joel, get a first down. And here we go. You see the audible there, and you see Teddy Lehman. He's the middle linebacker. He's only one linebacker in the ball game here for Oklahoma. They're going to take advantage of that. Good blocking side. They take Teddy out of the picture, and Abram gets a pretty good run.
Yeah, good read by Smith, and then a good block by Ricker, who's center. So now 1st and 10, Mizzou. Out of the gun. Smith trying to get in the perimeter and bouncing outside efficiently. There goes Brad Smith for another first down, all the way across the 45.
Well, should we call him the Magic Man?
He's pretty close to it.
Really close on that play. This young man does a good job. Hey, he's supposed to come to the near side. It's the read option play for the quarterback. He's going to come to the right, try to go to the left side of the screen. Uh-oh, there's a lot of Oklahoma Sooners there. He cuts back across the grain, and Brad Smith shows you why he's special on the perimeter of the defense, making plays with his feet.
Now in just 18 career games, Brad Smith already ranks 5th on the school total yardage chart. He's coming into the Oklahoma contest. He's an old 19-year-old. He is wise beyond his years and ready to check again on a first down from the 47. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Taking a look. Here's the running back, Abram. And make it gnashing there for the first time as Larry Burdine got to him.
You know, Joel, for Missouri to have success, their offensive line has to play well, and it really all starts up front with number 70, A.J. Ricker. He's their starting center. This is his 41st career start. He's a Remington candidate, one of the best centers in college football, and this young man is doing a good job for this football team early. You see on the pull block there a couple plays ago getting a block, and he's going to have to play well inside, take care of Tommy Harris and Dvorak. That's not an easy task, though.
Brad Smith on the slant. It's complete. He goes out across the midfield stripe to the 46 on Boga in front of Brodney Poole. So now Mizzou looking at a 3rd and short in Oklahoma territory.
You know, Brad Smith is not all about just running the football. He's got a very strong arm too, and I think a pretty consistent throw in the way he delivers the football. And take a look at the numbers that he had a week ago against Nebraska. Pretty good day for that young man. 303 yards of total offense. And receiving 47 yards, even a touchdown. Hey, that's the longest reception from scrimmage for the Missouri Tigers this year.
Now Mizzou in a big 3rd down conversion situation, 3rd and 3. Smith looking for a screen that's not there. Will he be able to get it himself? I don't believe so. Yes, he does. Just across by a yard to the 42. Well, he negotiates it. He knew where he needed to go. Dante Nicholson brings him down. But you mentioned it. The kid makes plays where they shut him down on the previous play, come into the near side, ad-lib to the outside. Once he gets on the perimeter, and that's what Gary Pinkel told us. That was the key to Oklahoma's game last year where they almost beat the Sooners. They got him on the edge.
Well, we talked to Mike Stoops, the defense coordinator from Oklahoma. He told us, he said, Brad Smith embarrassed us a year ago and just running around like you saw on that play. And he's just a tremendous athlete. They've got to find a way to contain him.
Mizzou trying to come back early, down by 7. And can't get out of the backfield. Zach Abram chased down by Dusty Dvorak. Big play by the tackle. Let's head back to Los Angeles. A Dr. Pepper game break. It's Mike Goldberg. Mike?
Joel, all about tradition. Number 5 USC at Notre Dame, tied at 14.
All right, Mike, and I heard too much talk of weeks about J.D. Booty. He may be a great quarterback of the future for the Trojans, but Leinert's did a great job, and it's almost picked off. They tried to get it to Darius Outlaw, who was double covered straight, almost had it.
That's anticipation. Derek Strait did it from his cornerback position. Going to read Brad Smith all the way and almost comes up with a big interception around midfield. Derek Strait, a big interception to start the game a week ago against the Longhorns. Got things rolling for that defense early. To see him jump that throw and almost has a pick.
Lehman in the neighborhood as well. Strait, the defensive player of the week in the Big 12. Career high 11 stops last week. He recovered 2 fumbles. You mentioned he had an interception as well. So now Mizzou's looking at 3rd and long, 3rd and 16 after the loss on 1st down. Moving the pocket by design underneath behind Outlaw. He spins inside the 35, maybe a field goal try for Missouri. They're only short of the 1st down by a yard and a half. Derek Strait wrapping up Darius Outlaw, who threw for a touchdown to Brad Smith last week for 47 yards.
Well, Darius Outlaw is happy to get this pass, get back into the offense. He's their number 2 receiver. You see his production on the year. One of the better receivers that they have on that football team, and brings up a 4th and manageable situation. Gary Pinkel looks like he's going to go for it here on 4th down at around the 33-yard line.
I don't take it out of the hands of Brad Smith. Sorry, they've got Abram in the backfield.
Look at the formation.
Yeah.
Got the
All of a sudden,
gate.
you got it. It is a swinging gate. Can Smith get away? Just a little shovel. It works. He's got a 1st down and a lot more for Outlaw. Outlaw tiptoeing the sideline. A flag down on the play inside the 25. Let's see what that's all about. If it stands, it's going to be a 1st down to the 14.
Yeah, probably going to have an illegal lineman downfield because he flipped the ball forward, which is a forward pass. And I think they were trying to get Brad Smith to run this football. He just made an improvisational run here and throwing that football, trying to get it out to someone who could take care of it.
Disregard the flag, no foul.
What a break for Missouri.
Lineman was downfield, the pass was behind the line. No foul,
That's
1st down.
the key. It was a little shovel. It never crossed the line of scrimmage.
That's like a screenplay then. You can see here Brad Smith trying to come to the near sideline, trying to make a play. And you see what he does to Dante Nicholson, but Outlaw's behind the line of scrimmage. The line judge was there, and so there's no flag on the play.
Like a good point guard in basketball, he makes his teammates look a lot better, doesn't he? That's Brad Smith, the quarterback for the Missouri Tigers, their catalyst. And now it's 1st and 10 Missouri, starting back at their own 20, all the way inside the 15 of the Sooners. Smith following the block of Abram to the 10, all the way down to the 7. What about the block of the running back?
Well, this is a quarterback lead play. It's like he's lined up as a tailback, but he allows Abram to be his blocking fullback. The fake to him and then just follow him through the hole. This is a design play all the way. It's not a missed handoff or anything like that. And Brad Smith is rushing on the year 6.0 average per carry. You've got one lineman going here. Then you've got your other back going through their apron. And now Brad Smith goes through the hole. You see the block there by Abram. Hey, it just knocks one of the defenders on his can.
So now it's going to be, can I quote you, second and about 2, Abram losing a yard maybe inside the 8. You know, you brought the great point on the ride over from the hotel this morning. You talked about certain teams are difficult matchups for other teams, and maybe Brad Smith just happens to be a difficult matchup for Bob Stoops and his group.
Well, that is some truth to that. And sometimes some teams match up personnel-wise, system-wise, what they do offensively or defensively. It just doesn't, it's hard to defend. And, last year they had a tough time against Missouri. They're moving the football now. You look at Oklahoma State playing Oklahoma. They didn't match up the last 2 times very well with that football team, and they lost in those 2 ball games.
Brad Smith for the tight end and overshooting his man. As it's going to be, pass intended for J.D. McCoy. 4th and 3 for Missouri. That was the 13th play of the drive, so even if they don't get into the end zone, just to get 3 and keep the Oklahoma offense off the field was key.
Well, Gary Pinkel went for it on 4th down. A couple of plays back, had a 4th and 2 situation, but this one here is a little longer. 4th and 3, gonna kick the field goal. You see Brad Smith here trying to make a play and get to the back of the end zone. A little bit too much air under it.
It'll be a 26-yard attempt trying to get Mizzou on the board. Michael Matheny, senior from Columbia, 3 of 4 on the season. Can he give the Tigers some points? He does exactly that. So Matheny has the Tigers on the scoreboard in Norman. Mizzou trailing by 4, the #1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners. Out there, they just faded the second halves of early games. His first year there, a little bit better last year, and now they've got 4th quarter comeback wins this year. So if they can hang around our Jiffy Lube scoring drive, anything can happen because it's a different program now under Pinkel at Mizzou.
5:57 on that drive. That's something that Missouri needs to do. Keep the ball away from Oklahoma's offense, and be efficient. Put the points on the board. That's what they did there. Got to 3 points, and that was a pretty good drive for them.
Mike Matheny kicks it away. Perkins back deep along with Rankins. Perkins going to take the line driver at the 3. Sets it up over to the left side, 15-20, spun around and belted to the 22. So Mizzou slows down one of the best return men in the nation. Beaming down there. Now Oklahoma up by 4 with the football back. Homecoming weekend in Norman, Oklahoma. Did we get a break? Game time temperature in the 60s, clear skies, Big 12 football. It really is an unbelievable weekend to be in the Midwest. Joel Myers, Gary Reason, John Radigan down the sideline. Welcome back to the matchup between Missouri and the Oklahoma Sooners, as Jason White and the offense are back on the field. Now, Jason White has gone the distance in only 1 game so far this season. There have been so many blowouts for Oklahoma, the #1 scoring team in the nation, averaging 48 points a contest. So his numbers, if they wanted to pour it on, they could even be better. From the 22, little shovel to Dante Hickson, and he's across the 30, close to 10. He gets just about 9.
They just keep rolling them out there. Dante Hickson, one of the talented backs for Oklahoma. Mentioned how well he did a week ago against the Longhorns. This time they're just going to get hat on hat. Blocker's going to pull outside, and everyone's accounted for it. Hickson just runs through a nice hole. And I tell you, they just keep rolling them out there, Joel. There's a lot of talent on this football team.
And he's only a sophomore. Another kid out of Texas, McKinney, Texas. How does Bob Stoops pluck all these kids out of Texas? He got the #1 quarterback out of Texas, one of the top players overall in the nation, coming in next year. And that's after, Gary, he gets a 6'7" quarterback from California, who was one of the best on the West Coast last year, a true freshman this season.
It tells you he's a recruiter, tells you he gets talent to this program, and they've had success. And I think players notice that. They know that the success that Oklahoma has shown over the last few years with Bob Stoops and his tenure here, and they want to play for a winner, and that's what Bob Stoops presents.
He's in his 5th year, and it's amazing, as we talked to him earlier this week, the difference in just talking to him over the last 2-3 years, how much more comfortable he is in the role. It's got to be intimidating when you follow guys like Bud Wilkinson in Norman. Barry Switzer had a nice run, too. Before he got here, they had not had a winning season in quite some time. Now, on 2nd and short, bouncing outside, look out, Hickson again. Big yardage for a first down across the midfield stripe. All the way to the Missouri 46 with 2 snaps and way too much yardage for Hickson if you're a Missouri fan.
Well, Hickson's going to be thankful to Runnels, his fullback. Comes out, does a nice blocking on the corner for him, and J.D. Runnels, the unsung hero. He's almost like an offensive lineman here for Oklahoma, the big offensive lineman. Look at number 38. He's going to come and block on the perimeter. Hickson comes around and watch that turn block. Just almost pancakes him, gets him down to the ground. That's an excellent job by your fullback, and Hickson can turn the corner with his speed.
22 yards on the carry by Dante Hickson. First and 10 outside of the Missouri 46. Set it up for the wide receiver. Clayton. Dragged down. Good play by Brandon Barnes once again on the outside. You got to be quick to get to Clayton at 5'11", 190 pounds, a junior from Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, I'm talking about blocking. That blocking goes all the way across to the wide receivers on this football team. That's one of the things that they grade very hard on this football team at Oklahoma. You want to go down and block and get a pass to the outside. You want to get your wide receivers into clear space. Your other wide receivers have to block. Brandon Jones, an excellent job that time, and giving a nice block outside.
It was second and short. Struggling for a couple is Hickson that time. He's short of the first down, though, by about a yard. At the 38 near the 37 of Missouri, Michael Harden making the stop at the secondary. Hickson, a little guy. He gets lost behind that big wall.
And we talked to the Missouri coaches, Matt Eberflus, their defensive coordinator, about how do you stop this Oklahoma football team? And, there's kind of a pause in that conversation because they have a lot of talent. He said what you have to do, the only thing you can do is change it up with your blitzes, how you do things. You can't go man on them because they got so much speed. They normally go a 4-2-5 defense with a lot of defensive backs in the game and trying to slow them down.
Hickson, second effort. Will he get to the marker? He got very close. He's back at the 37. I think he needed to go closer to the 36. Looks like as Mosley was all over the play. He's a sophomore from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. It looks like they're going to be short by less than a yard. And the offense is staying out there.
Yeah, I would doubt very seriously that they'd pull off right here. Bob Stoops in his own backyard. Go for it on fourth down here.
They take the ball out of the hands. Even though Jason White has size, don't forget about the knee brace and the 2 surgeries. You don't normally see him on a quarterback sneak. Now, fourth and less than a yard. Hickson trying to bend it outside. He won't make it to the corner. What a play on the outside for Missouri. Harrington over there, the first one for the Tigers. The Roverback, a redshirt freshman from Mexico.
Well, this is a short yardage play, and Harrington's going to line up to the outside, number 33. Hickson just needs to hit it up in here and get that first down yardage. He tries to bend it to the outside, and Harrington does a good job on the corner and pulls him down. I think he gets in there behind his offensive line and finds a little gap. He's going to have a chance. Good job by the Tigers, and that's a good stop for that defense.
That's huge. That's a confidence builder as Missouri now has super field position at their own 43. Best field position to start a drive on their third offensive possession. Smith out of the gun. Great protection by the offensive line. And now, will Smith run it? No. Coming back is Outlaw. Good recognition, quarterback and receiver to a former quarterback in Darius Outlaw. And he's got close to a first down, almost 10 on the reception. So he's belted by Corey Klein.
You see how comfortable Brad Smith is back there in the pocket. He's got all the time that he needs to throw the football in the secondary, trying to cover these receivers. Darius Outlaw, number 3, just working behind the linebacker, says, hey, Brad, I'm open. Comes back to him, as you said, Joel. Makes a nice grab and a first down here for Missouri again.
Darius Outlaw trying to become the first in Mizzou history to throw for 1,000 yards and also catch passes for 1,000 yards. He should get it done if he stays healthy. Abram in the deep set as the single. It's first and 10. Plenty of time for Smith and a poor throw. Well behind Darius Outlaw. In fact, the defensive back had a better shot, Brodney Poole.
Yeah, Brodney Poole is one of these players that's come into the fold here for the Sooners this year and played exceptionally well. They actually say that he is the best pure athlete in that secondary, and to have him back there, he can play any position, any cornerback position, safety position, and Mike Stoops really likes him on his football team and talks very highly of Brodney Poole.
That's Mike Stoops, the co-defensive coordinator for his brother Bob here at Oklahoma. It'll be second and 10. Smith in trouble, and Smith on his way down. He never saw Dan Cody. The junior from Ada, Oklahoma, tied for the team lead, and now he's got the team lead with 5 sacks.
That's his 5th sack of the season. This front four has done a great job for Oklahoma all year long. He just beat the right tackle that time. The left tackle does a good job getting in the backfield and making a huge play here for Oklahoma.
That's the final snap of a very entertaining first 15 minutes in Norman. The #1 team in the nation getting a battle so far. Number 24 Missouri is Oklahoma. Oklahoma leads it by 4. Team of the nation leading by 4. We welcome you back to Norman College Football Saturday, presented by Dr. Pepper. Number 24, Missouri hanging tough, but are they falling in love with the pass? Dan Cody loves it.
You want to play quarterback in the Big 12? You got to deal with a guy like Dan Cody coming nasty around the corner. Missed assignment actually from Missouri offensively. They can't do that tonight. This defense, they're going to chew him up if they allow him to get back in that backfield like that.
Joel Myers, Gary Reasons, John Radigan down on the sideline. And can you fall in love with the pass too much? Because you want your quarterback to have it in his hand so often if he does want to run the ball after he surveys the situation. Because coming in, Kellen talked about it, you and I talked about it, running the football and keeping the Oklahoma offense on the sideline.
Well, now you're a 3rd and 21. You're going to be throwing the football here, at least do something passing the ball, you'd think. But you've got to run the ball 1st and 2nd down, whether it's Abram or Brad Smith. They get positive yards. You can't keep going backwards.
All right, we haven't seen a screen from Mizzou yet. Abram stays in there. As Gary mentioned, 3rd and forever. Smith with the pocket collapsing, and he's on his way down, back at the 40. So another sack for the Sooners back at the 39-yard line. Getting in there, Wayne Chambers along with Dante Nicholson.
Dante Nicholson the first to get him, and then the help there from the rest of the Sooners defensive front. That's a good job in the coverage in the secondary for the Sooners, and the pressure just surrounded Brad Smith.
The Cody sack, though, killed the Tigers, and now Todd Kessler will punt it away.
And away being the key.
He really got into it. And it goes out of bounds at the 8. So what an improvement for the Missouri punt team.
That's exactly right. They don't want to punt it down the middle of the field for him to be able to return the football. Some of the best returners in the country here, and that's Antonio Perkins back there, not letting him catch that ball and make positive yards, and then a good kick going inside the 10-yard line.
So a punt of 53 yards for Kessler and no return. Well, this week on Fox NFL Sunday, the pregame show, Howie Long heads to New York, finding out what's wrong with those Giants. What do they have to do to get back on track? And you'll never guess what Simeon Rice does on his off day. Pam Oliver with the inside scoop. The Ford F-150 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. It's tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And of course, 11 here in the Central Time Zone. Beautiful night for football, and Oklahoma's got it their own 8. Works setting up in the eye. Whitebelt going to his wide receiver Clayton and leading him perfectly. So a big first down and breathing room across the 25 all the way to the 26-yard line.
Mark Clayton has been the #1 go-to guy here for Oklahoma this year, and he's done a good job catching the football. You're going to see a bad angle here by Mitchell on the outside on Clayton. Clayton stops for the ball. You see the angle he takes. He goes outside, and Clayton takes it inside, cuts up to the middle of the field, makes a nice play after the catch.
And it's one thing not to want to get burned, but to give a guy a 12-yard cushion like that off the line of scrimmage. Now White knocked into his wide receiver. Big yardage and spinning away. Brandon Jones down the sideline all the way inside Missouri territory at the 29-yard line. Mitchell gets to him.
Well, Jason Simpson lines up as a free safety on this play for Missouri on defense, and Brandon Jones catches the ball in traffic over the middle. Jason Simpson thinks, hey, I'm going to give you a big hit on this and knock the ball out of your hands. Watch number 81 come into the middle of the field here, and here's Simpson right here. Got a shot on him, and take a look at the shot he takes, but good job of keeping his feet going, and that's yards after the catch. We call them yak yards. That's a great job by Brandon Jones.
Yeah, that's 21 yards after the catch. As you cut her to the midfield stripe, you talked about the hit. You better wrap him if you're going to put that hit on him. Now from the 29, works. Trying to bend it outside. Takes it inside the tackle for 9 all the way to the 20.
Didn't get touched to the line of scrimmage, Joel. Good blocking on that offensive line.
Gary, 3 snaps for Oklahoma from their own 8. All the way to the Missouri 20.
They move it in a hurry. They've got the talent to do that. They can make big plays, and Gary Pinkel's got to get his defense settled down out there, and they can't allow big plays to happen against this football team. It's one of the things we talked about at the open, and one of the keys of the football game, that Missouri cannot allow big plays to this Oklahoma offense, and they chewed it up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, Jason White has at least 1 completion of 45 yards or more in every game so far this season. He's been amazing guiding this offense after a 2-year layoff with the torn ACLs. After the play fake, he's in trouble. Good footwork, though, to get to the outside and behind Jawan Rankins. So normally you don't see him that comfortable out of the pocket. The mobility's not there because of the bad knees, but he showed decent footwork.
They actually showed pretty good speed getting around to the corner here. You're going to see the read play, fake to that back coming out. That works. Going to block on the backside. Jason White rolling outside. He's got an open receiver in Rankins there, but just a poor throw behind him. One of the few poor throws that he's thrown this season.
It'll be third with less than a yard. Third and 4. We'll keep it on the ground with Works. It is Works. Big yardage all the way inside the 10 to the 5. First and goal at the 3. Touchdown saving tackle for the Tigers by Michael Harden.
Michael Harden, the last guy there for the Tigers defensively. He has to pull Ronaldo Works now. Take a look at the offensive line and the blocking up front here. Jamal Bryant, you see him coming from his right tackle position, cleaned everything out. Good job that time getting in behind his offensive line blocking, and Ronaldo Works was smelling that end zone.
So Missouri thought they were in good shape when they punted the ball 53 yards out of bounds at the 8. Little did they know. Works in the eye. First and goal from the 3. Works going low for a yard down to the 2. So they average 48 yards, 48 points a game. That's number 1 in the nation. Oklahoma trying to stay on course and add to their 7-3 lead. Barnes made the stop.
Well, this is where it gets physical in here. Your defensive front has to take it on. You see the helmet knocked off by Runnels there. Knocks it off with a linebacker stepping up in the hole. And this guy right there is a physical football player, number 38 for the Sooners.
Barnes been all over the place early for the Tigers, the senior from Sykeston. Now second and goal. Jones takes over at tailback after a play fake. Sidearm toss. Runnels couldn't hang on, and he was available in front of Barnes.
Yeah, he had him in a touchdown catch a week ago against Texas and caught an easy pass. That was a little more difficult up around his. He had to reach up for that one. Jason White, you know, the play fake here, and he knows he's got him, but goes right through his hands.
It's a defensive struggle today between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. How about 100 points? I know the guys in the studio are going to be talking about that in just a moment. 7-3. Big play once again early for Missouri. 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Can they hold him to a field goal try? Third and goal from the 2. Works is back there. And confusion, especially in the backfield between Works and his running mates. Jason White uses the first time out of the first half for the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll find out what the number 1 team in the nation does when we come back on a third and goal, leading Missouri by 4. Oklahoma Sooners trying to add to their 4-point lead. And welcome back to Norman. Joel Myers, Gary Reasons, John Radigan. 3 minutes gone by in the second quarter. College Football Saturday presented by Dr. Pepper, and a perfect night for football in the 60s in Norman, Oklahoma. Couldn't ask for a better situation. Now, Gary, you're Bob Stoops. What do you call third and goal from the 2?
I think you keep pounding the football. You've got a good offensive running game going here. Be physical against this Missouri Tiger defense, and I think you go out there and run with the big guns.
This drive started all the way back at the 8. This is the 8th play coming up.
And Jason White looks like he's going to be in the shotgun.
He's got Works in the backfield. Slides the wide receiver. Jones in motion. Plenty of time, and it's off the fingertips of the tight end as he was trying to hit Donnelly, although
he was actually
Jones was right behind him, and Jones was available on that cross.
He saw Brandon Jones first, trying to get it to him, but Donnelly comes across as the tight end. You're going to see Brandon Jones right here, and watch this come across, and Jason White's going to throw the ball right there, and this is a receiver he's looking for.
You got it.
See Brandon put his hand on his head. Oh, I've got that one, and Donnelly gets a hand or two on it. Look at that picture right there.
Jay DiCarlo, he is going to try a 19-yard field goal attempt. He is 12 for 13 in the season. He's hit 19 of his last 21. It's on its way, and the Sooners lead by 7. So Mizzou is strong. When it became a goal line situation, it's only a 7-point deficit for the Tigers. College Football Saturday presented by Dr. Pepper on Fox Sports Net. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. BU. Nothing's better. It's Dr. Pepper. I need one. Buy a Whataburger, a double, extra onions, mustard, lettuce, tomato, just like you like it. Also, by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. And by Quaker's Days, specially formulated to meet the needs of your vehicle's engine. Oklahoma with a 19-yard field goal by DiCarlo will kick it away, back deep. Roberson along with Mitchell. And will Missouri get it? Slightly with the wind. DiCarlo hits it. And another good one. It is going to be Mitchell past the 10, finds a lane and barely pulled down the 24-yard line. Time once again for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's head to Los Angeles. Mike Goldberg. Mike, what's the latest?
Joel, the shootout in Stillwater is final. Oklahoma State leading Texas Tech by 2 late, 3rd and 25. B.J. Simmons intercepted by John Holland. The Cowboys have won 6 straight. Their only loss, the opener at Nebraska, 100 total points scored. What a shootout, Joel Myers.
100 points. You score 51 and you only win by 2, Gary.
Tough defense, both football teams, and that must have been a fun one to watch.
Thanks, Mike. Out of the shotgun, Brad Smith with pocket protection and available behind the secondary. What a catch. Taking it in front of Derek, actually behind Derek Strait. Mizzou, yes. Gets her man free. Ekwekwu.
Ekwekwu does a good job here on the outside. I think there's some confusion in the secondary for Oklahoma. Brad Smith on the read option pass here throws it downfield, and Derek Strait having to chase because no one's got her. Ekwekwu here doing a good job behind the secondary, but obviously a missed assignment back there for the Sooners.
Ekwekwu is a true freshman from Arlington, Texas, and all of a sudden, just like that, from their own 24, Missouri in Oklahoma territory. Brad Smith weaving his magic all the way inside the 30 down to the 29. It didn't look like it would get much, but a plus 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7 yards on that play. It's a read play. He's going to try to follow Abram again on the lead block, but there's nothing there. And he just makes something out of nothing, Brad Smith does oftentimes, and that's a good example on that last play.
Yeah, that's why it's got a, you look at it. Look isn't that a great shot? There's Mike Stoops. Like, do you believe this? I thought I had him in the backfield.
Yeah,
that's what it's got to make you crazy as a defensive coordinator. From the 29, 2nd and 3. If they get some yardage on the ground, Abram won't get there. No gain in the carry, maybe a half yard at the most. Wayne Chambers in on the hit, the middle linebacker. Our Whataburger leaders in the Big 12. Tatum Bell had a big one today, didn't he? What was it, 2 1/4 for Oklahoma State on the ground?
Over 200 yards in that football game.
Zach Abram coming in today needed 420 yards to become the all-time leading rusher in Missouri history. They had Johnny Rowland, James Wilders, very good ones that ran for the Tigers. Damian Nash takes over in the backfield. It's 3rd and a little less than 3. You take it out of his hands. Smith out of the gun.
4-man rush.
And almost a hold. Can Smith get away? It is a hold. That was pretty blatant right up the middle. There's a Tommy Harris who almost got to the quarterback.
No doubt about it. Tommy Harris beats the offensive guard. They have to hold him, try to keep him out of there. He's just so strong. His upper body strength is tremendous for a defensive tackle. There's definitely a holding call here against Missouri. And
that'll take him out of field goal range, and I think you've got to take the penalty, even though you get Brad Smith 3rd and a chance at 12 or 13 yards.
Well, you're going to take the penalty here, no doubt about it. But
holding, offense, 10 yards, replay 3rd down.
When you have the ability to rush 4 players and just break through in the middle like you have with Tommy Harris, hey, that's a lot of things that you can do defensively. That's why we talked to Mike Stoops. He talked about Tommy Harris and how well he's playing, and you have to account for him in there in the middle, number 97 for the Sooners. It's hard to miss him. He's one of the bigger guys out there, 290-pounder.
You know, Gary Pingle doesn't quite have the Bill Cowher chin, but he's got a pretty good jaw working. So now 3rd and long. 10-3. Sooners on top of the Tigers. Just about 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and Mizzou is going to use their second timeout. We will do the same in Norman, Oklahoma. 10:08 to play in the first half with the #1 team in the nation leading, but only by 7.
Report, Joel Myers.
All right, Mike, a very busy day, so we'll be with you in the studio in just a few minutes with 10:08 left to play in the first half here in Norman, Oklahoma. And can Missouri pick up 13 and burn the decision by Bob Stoops? It would have been about a 47-yard field goal try for Mike Matheny. His longest so far this season has been, well, last year was 44. This year, right at 40. Abram is in the backfield. The only one flanking Brad Smith. Smith out on the edge. He's got a man wide open. And close to the first down. Lunging, and he gets it. Do you believe it? Marcus James, the senior from Liberal, Kansas. Now will he get the mark? As he got away from Teddy Lehman.
Now one of the biggest receivers, 5'8", 175 pounds, but keeps his legs working to get that first down. And Brad Smith, little slight roll to his right, throws it outside to Marcus James, who's underneath coverage. There's nobody there. Nobody's accounting for him. He takes the ball and runs through the tackle of Teddy Lehman and might have the first down.
He needed to go inside the 26, and let's see what kind of spot he got as well. Well, he lands with the ball almost to the 25.
Yeah, and I think we got a Sooner down. I think that's Brodney Poole, number 23.
A sophomore from Houston. Let's head on down to the sideline. Join the third member of our team who lives for homecoming in any location, John Radigan.
Yeah, not just a sideline reporter tonight, guys. I am the king of the sidelines. Microphone in one hand, royal scepter in the other hand. Big time thank you actually goes out to the outgoing homecoming king, Wilmer Hoffman. This is actually his scepter, and congratulations to the new king and queen, which will be crowned at halftime. Now, there's lots happening down here on the sidelines tonight. We will be all over it, and if you would, from now on, guys, I'd like for you to refer to me as Your Highness or Sire.
John, we're waiting for you with a crown next time you come on camera. And we're not going to call you queen for a day either, I promise.
Good news, Brodney Poole up and coming off the field. See the measurement there. Looks like a first down here for Missouri. That was a good effort that time by Marcus James.
So Missouri does have the first down. It was a gamble. We talked about it. Do you want to let Brad Smith have the opportunity to make another play?
Looked like a blown coverage to me, though, for Oklahoma out there. Not even accounting for Marcus James. No one really within 5 yards of him. He's at the first down marker. And that's the gamble you take, and sometimes you lose. But now their defense is going to have to stop them, and they've got a fresh set of downs here.
This drive started back at the Missouri 24, first and 10 of the 26 of Oklahoma. Mizzou played tough last year, losing at home 31-24. Smith calling his own number. What a decoy. Inside the 15. Is he gone? Yes. Touchdown, Missouri. A point after away from tying things up. Does he hide and deceive well?
Well, that's that option quarterback read. He can either hand off underneath inside, and he chooses to take it around the corner. And he gets a great seal block on this play, and then he's just got the speed, outruns the entire defense. Take a look, he fakes to Abram, then the seal block on the outside. That's the tight end coming across there. J.D. McCoy does a good job, and the diving tackle there by Everidge can't get him. Look at the burst that he has when he comes around the corner. When he decides to turn it on, look out, folks. This young man can run.
And he showed patience. He did not tip it off early. So now the point after, it's up, it's good, and it's a brand new ball game. Do you believe this? 9 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the half.
Oh, the scoring drive here. Excellent job by Missouri. Bring it. You know, the key thing there in that drive, we talked about it, Joel, was a decision by Bob Stoops to not take that penalty, give the ball back to Brad Smith and company. And here's another look at this end zone. You see the pulling guard there and the fake to Abram. And watch McCoy come around. Good job of sealing that corner. And then all Brad Smith here from the outside. And there's also a good block by Darius Outlaw, number 3, the wide receiver on the outside. And Brad Smith just inside that pylon for the score.
So as it turns out, Oklahoma's failure in the red zone really cost them because they had a first and goal inside the 3-yard line.
Well, a couple of good things working for Missouri. Their defense plays well. Now their offense goes out there and responds, takes the ball the length of the field, and go back in this football game. It's a close one, 10-10. Anything can happen.
Well, Brad Smith, as we go to our Bank of America higher standards, was the difference maker again for the Tigers in the matchup. His first against the Oklahoma Sooners, and Mike Stoops knew what he was going to have to face again.
Well, this is a nightmare for our defensive coordinator, and the poor tackling for the Sooners a year ago, and Brad Smith being congratulated by Mike Stoops and Bob Stoops after that game because they were very impressed with how well he performed in that football game a year ago.
Feeney kicks it away, and a couple of yards into the end zone. In Perkins, look out. And he's out to the 30-yard line. You feel like you did a good job when you hold him to the 30.
That's exactly right. Newsom Perkins, if he hadn't slipped, he's going to win the corner possibly. He's got enough speed to get around the corner. And you see the sideline here from Missouri congratulating that offensive unit for going out there. And take a look at Brad Smith, what he did last year against OU. Tremendous effort that night, 213 yards rushing. That's a record for Missouri from the quarterback position, the 2 touchdowns, and almost was unstoppable out there. And it was just a fun game to watch.
The Sooners have taken 14 of the last 15 overall from the Tigers. 15 in a row right here on their home field, Memorial Stadium in Norman. And now it's the shovel toss to Works. They push him out to the boundary. And a good play down the line for Missouri. As they shut him down after a yard or two. Harrington over there again. He's been in on a couple of stops.
Trying to go sideways here on Missouri defensively, trying to use your speed offensively. Good job that time by Missouri, stringing the play out. Hey, if you're going to go sideways, they'll like that. They've got enough speed on their defense. They feel like they can play sideline to sideline.
And they don't mind that. We thought we'd see Oklahoma, because of the experience, especially on the left side of their offensive line, try to pound them a little bit early. But now it's going to be 2nd and 8 outside the 31. Tight end's got it. And the tight end is shut down immediately. Lance Donnelly, the senior from Weatherford, Oklahoma. Brandon Barnes, he's been all over the place. Stops him about 2.5, 3 yards shy of where he needed to go for the first down.
Well, they work the ball around here. A lot of different receivers, they get into the football game. Jason White, we talked about 20 touchdown passes on the season coming in. He's thrown a touchdown pass, Joel, to 15 different players on this football team. That's a tremendous feat.
That's getting everybody involved, keeping everybody on their toes. Now can he get 3 for a first down? Quick one, almost intercepted. As he went for Rankins, Curry almost picked it off. He's gone the distance if he can. The senior from Kirkwood High School in St. Louis.
That's what I call laying in the weeds. Terrence Curry back there. Hey, I'm reading the quarterback's eyes. I know he's going to throw it outside. And take a look here. He sees Jason White set up and throw the ball, and Curry comes underneath, and boy, that's his ball. Boy, he knows he missed a great opportunity there to put a score on the board for the Tigers. He's got to look it in, and you got to make that grab. That's a huge play. That would be a huge momentum swing in this football game.
Back deep for Missouri. Kincaid waits. And will there be a flag? There was contact, so he tried to get to the football. Inside the 20, it rolls all the way down to the 12. And there won't be a flag, but it almost looked like interference on trying to get to the catch. So Missouri's going to have it deep in their own territory, but they'll take it. They're tied at 10 as Oklahoma for the first time went 3 and out with a punt. Game 2 of the World Series. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. The Yankees and the Marlins. It was supposed to start, don't forget, the World Series this year in the National League City until Gagne gave up the lead in the All-Star game. The Midsummer Classic, so the Yankees started at home. Who do you like, Yankees or Marlins, Gary?
Give me a great contest. You know, the Marlins are pretty special this year, what they're doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled it out.
Brad Smith too tall, even though Darius Outlaw has size on the outside. At 6'3", 185 pounds. Matt McCoy on the coverage. So the Missouri Tigers tied up with the #1 team in the nation. They gave them fits last year, lost with 6.5 minutes left at home on a fake field goal. Garrett Tinkle told us, you know what, it's a year later, and we beat them on counters, misdirections, draws. They're going to be much more prepared for what we do this season. And still, they've got a catalyst, a playmaker. The running back, Nash, showing the speed. The young man from East St. Louis, knocked out of bounds just short of the 20.
Missouri comes out with a bunch formation on the near sideline. You think you see bunch, you think pass, but really they're going to use it to set up this run play to Nash to the outside. Good job of play execution and design. Looks like a passing play in the defense. You see the bunch here. They're all going to block down. That's going to win the corner. Good job. And you got your seal block coming around here, and that's exactly what happened. And Nash gets around the corner. That's an excellent job of blocking coming around there.
So now field position-wise, can Oklahoma get the stop? Missouri needs a little less than 3. Smith on his own won't get there. He faked it to Nash. Teddy Lehman didn't buy the play fake.
Looked like Teddy Lehman was just kind of mirroring Brad Smith on that play. The speedy linebacker doing a good job of just mirroring Brad. As he goes to one side, he goes with him and then stepped up in the hole. Brad Smith on the option here has a chance to go around the corner, but says no. You see Teddy Lehman, watch his eyes, number 11, step into the hole and make a good sure tackle here on Brad.
Bunny once again for Missouri. Todd Gosler, the senior from San Diego, angles it over to the sideline, putting Perkins on the boundary. Still, there he goes, look out. And he's off balance, out of bounds. Almost did it again. He's got 6 on his career, returns for scores. The NC2A record is 7. As he's pushed out by the punter.
Well, they're trying to punt away from him, trying to punt the ball to the sideline. He's only about 2 yards from the sideline when he takes it, but you see the ability to make people miss in the open field that Perkins possesses. You talked about what he's doing. You see the punter come over and knock him off his pegs to get him out of bounds. Excellent returner of Perkins for this football team. Huge play again in this kicking game. 28
yards on the return. After the directional punt of 47 yards. So just when you thought you did it well. So much for that.
Now they take over the 39-yard line of Missouri. That's great field position, Joel.
First time they have started with the ball in plus territory on the Mizzou side of the 50, and too much time for the quarterback. And White's going for the end zone. Jump ball. And Should he come down with it? I believe so.
It's a war. Who are they
It
going to
should
give
be
it
a
to?
touchdown, Oklahoma. Clayton won the jump ball along with Williams.
Joel, that's the big playability of this football team here for Oklahoma. You see it in the kick return game, and now you see it in the play action passing game here. Jason White, everyone's covered, but he knows he's got one-on-one coverage outside. The pump fake, throws it up as high as he can, and you'll see competition for this football. Who actually makes the catch and struggles and pulls it away? Williams thinks he has it, but no, it's a touchdown for the Sooners.
DiCarlo for the point after, and just like that, a 39-yard scoring strike, a one-play drive. With 6:54 left in the half, and the #1 team in the nation regains the lead. Williams got to spike the ball here because he had inside position.
You see Clayton on the outside going for the football. Look at the position he has. You talk about it, Joel. Time your jump, and Clayton goes up over the top and gets his hand on his left hand and pulls it in, concentrating more, and the official's on top of it, going to give it to him. Jason White steps up into the pocket, puts everything he's got into this football. I'm not sure he can throw it any further than he does. The ball is up high, and a good job by Clayton going to it and making a grab.
So Mark Clayton, he's got another year left coming in today. In 31 career games, he had better than 100 catches. And now he's also got 14 career touchdowns. Our Jiffy Lube scoring drive took a long time, didn't it? So Oklahoma by 7. Missouri had given them great field position on the return, but Missouri helped them out because they went 3 and out with a punt on their previous possession.
Yeah, and Mark Clayton is the kind of the dean here of these wide receivers. Kind of a question mark coming into this football season, but has turned out to be one of the strongest suits here for Oklahoma, passing the football to a number of wide receivers who have played very well, but Mark Clayton definitely leads the bunch. As you said, he's just a junior. Joel will be back for this Oklahoma football team for another year, and got plenty left to do, though, for this season.
This has been Oklahoma's quarter all year long, outscoring their opponents 115-16 in the second 15 minutes of play. And now, just a little more than halfway through the second 15. They got 10 already in the second quarter compared to 7 for the Missouri Tigers. Going to be brought back by Mitchell at the 1. And Mitchell's got a lane across the 25 with a good return. Bounced off at the 29. Dennison over there on the coverage, so Mizzou with better field position than the last time they had it. But now, can they take advantage of the situation?
Well, they've got to get some first downs, as we talked about early in this game. Move the ball down the field. Hey, when you've got to punt the football, you've got to find out, hey, it's probably better to punt it out of bounds 30 yards than it is to punt it perhaps to Perkins and let him have a big return opportunity again. I think Brad Smith and company, get Abram in the football game, let him carry the ball a little bit, give him a chance to get some good yardage on the ground. Don't put everything on Brad Smith's shoulders.
They have not really tried to run the football at all. It's all been in the hands of Brad Smith, whether it's the pass or the run from Smith. And right now it's going to be through the air, they hope. Smith going to be caught from behind. Ad-libbing, and he's got a first down. Well, his wide receiver downfield, Ekwu, does it again, as it's a freelance by Smith, but he reads his quarterback well.
Well, Brad Smith he's a master of this. Everything breaks down the play action. You see the Tommy Harris getting in front of him. He just makes him miss, and Tommy Harris trying to catch him but can't do it. Brad Smith calmly throws the ball out to Ekwu, who makes a nice grab. Hey, that's improvisation. That's what Brad Smith does, making plays on the edge, keeping his football team moving down the field.
25 yards on the catch, all the way inside the 46 of Oklahoma. Pocket holds up for Smith and can't peel away. That time they got him from behind. It's Dante Nicholson.
Dante Nicholson included in the rush that time. They rushed forward. They put Dante Nicholson inside to take care of the back, and he continues through to try to get some pressure on the quarterback. He's got coverage on the back, but does a nice job continuing. Comes off that block to get Brad Smith for a short gain.
Not officially a sack, as you mentioned, because he did get the football across the line of scrimmage. Still close to 10, though, needed on 2nd and 10. Well, great penetration in the backfield. Knifing through Dan Cody, blew up that play right away. No chance for Abram.
Dan Cody went right through Steven Sanchez, the left tackle on that play, and Dan Cody's been a real surprise for this Oklahoma football team, a real pleasant addition. He had some injuries early in his career, and he came back healthy this season, goes right through Sanchez, as I said, and just spills Abram in the backfield.
So again, Missouri facing a 3rd and long. This time it's a 3rd and 18. Oklahoma so quick, you'd think that screens would work against this team. because they're putting so much pressure in their front four on the quarterback.
But they have so much speed in the secondary and their linebackers, it's tough to get a screenplay to work against them, Joe.
Smith in trouble. Now he tries the screen. It's Abram, and you're right. Teddy Lemon read it perfectly. Drops him and make it Damian Nash. Didn't make any difference at the 48.
Just watch the red jerseys come to the football on the screenplay. They get off the blocks as well as anybody in college football. That's good coaching. It's a good job by the defense. Just rallying to the play, trying to set up the screen as you think it might work against it. But no, the defense of Oklahoma, so fast, so talented. Brad Smith throws it out the last second to Nash, and you see the defense and Teddy Lehman playing off the block. Makes an excellent open field tackle.
So Missouri looking at 4th and better than 10, and Gosler again is going to be in there trying to keep it away from Antonio Perkins. It'll be Perkins fielding it inside the 5. Makes the first one miss. Now, gonna get out on the edge again. He'll run out of racing room this time. Harrington down there. He's also chased down by the Tigers' Derek Mink, the reserve linebacker. So good coverage by Missouri. Oklahoma starting with the football, leading by 7 inside their own 20. 7-point lead for the Oklahoma Sooners, and they have been the big play artists so far today. In fact, a big play right away, all the way up to the 47, as they've got a first down on their first snap of the drive from Works, as they started at their own 18.
Yeah, Ronaldo brings it all the way out to the 47-yard line here, and the Sooners are marching once again.
Hickson gives him a break. Dante Hickson taking over, and he's in the backfield with Runnels. It'll be a little sprint draw, and Hickson into the secondary. Look out. Another big play down to the 34. Gary, it's interesting, while we were away, he said the one thing that's killing Missouri, they're susceptible to the big plays, and now 2 on the ground. That really hurts.
Well, you're trying to take care of those receivers and take away the big play passing. Hey, sometimes you forget about the running game. Bob Stoops and his offensive football team coming back to the plays on the ground, and you see Dante Hickson here breaking through, and really not a lot of contact at the line of scrimmage. Good job of blocking, opening a hole for this running back, and Ronaldo works on the previous play with a big run as well.
Oh, we thought Missouri would try to stick it on the ground a little bit, keep their offense on the field. They have tried to do it through the air, though. Now Hickson in the eye, but it's going to be a short drop. And inside the 30, Juwan Rankins on the catch. Good yardage on first down. 8, almost 9, pulling it off in front of Washington.
Rolling a whole new defensive front in here for the Tigers up front, getting some fresh bodies in there. They're going to run a lot of players in there on defense, so they feel like, hey, the more fresh players we have out there, the better chance we're going to have to compete. And a penalty here, going to have a motion penalty. Trying to do a quick snap.
Dead ball, false start.
Try to snap, false start offense. Replay second down.
Now Missouri now looking at a 2nd and about 7 coming up for Oklahoma. Little inside of 7. They have to hold the Sooners to, at the worst, a field goal try. With 3:16 to play.
It's all happened so quick, Joel. 2 running plays got them to this point, and that's something that you don't want to have happen against your football team, running down the field, running the ball with big football plays. And Gary Pinkel says, hey, our defense has to step up, and we've got to at least take it out of their running game.
Slide Rankins setting up a middle screen, and it's almost intercepted by Ellison, the junior from St. Louis, who was on the end last year, read the quarterback perfectly.
So Ellison does a nice job in trying to make a play there. Gets off the block and almost knocks that play down.
Mike Kellen, Billy Ray with the Sonic halftime report. Some wild ones in the Big 12 today. How about 100 points between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech? We'll go back over that one. That could take most of the halftime report. And what about the unbeatens like Oklahoma? Still unbeaten? Well, we'll find out. And now Oklahoma has used their 2nd timeout. So both teams with 2:55 to play in the half with only 1 timeout remaining. Let's face it, 3 years ago when Gary Pinkel took this program over, they wouldn't have been this close, this late in the first half in Norman, Oklahoma. That's how far this program has advanced.
Well, one of the big things, the big turnaround so far this season for this football team is their defense, Joel. A year ago in 2002, they gave up 450 yards a game off defensively, and this year they're only allowing 346 yards. That's over 100 yards better this year, and that's the big turnaround of this football team. Their defense playing well. Hey, they've got a great operator in Brad Smith offensively. Abram runs the football well. Got a good core receiver. So you got it on the offensive side of the ball. What you have to do is turn it around defensively to win consistently, and Gary Pinkel, big emphasis there. Matt Evans was doing a good job in the coordinator spot for the Missouri Tigers.
So Missouri with 2 more years of Brad Smith. getting better. Team speed defensively, as Gary mentioned. College Football Saturday presented by Kia Sierra. Back with you next week on Fox Sports Net. And it's a Pac-10 twin bill. Number 22 Oregon State taking on number 6 Washington State, that is, in national title hopes on the line for the Cougars. Then Arizona State takes on UCLA. A winner today. UCLA 23-20 at home. They won 3 in a row. They're 5-2 now. Carl Drell and the Bruins making some noise. College Football Saturday next week, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net. Let's head downstairs. Rejoin John Radigan. John?
Hey, Joe, during the break, they used the Sooner Vision, the big screen, very well. They showed a montage of Jason White highlights, a bunch of plays, and then a still pose of the Heisman. The Jason White for the Heisman Trophy campaign is underway. Let's see how he does on 3rd and 6. It is incomplete. Guys,
trying to get it. Thanks, John. Trying to get it to Mark Clayton. Mitchell batted it away, so good coverage by Mizzou.
There's a great break on the ball by Shardania Mitchell, coming underneath that pass by Jason White. Jason White thought he had a touchdown down the hash mark, but Mitchell does a nice job breaking that pass up.
They're going to go for it. Out of field goal range, they feel. It would be about a 47, 48-yard try. So now it's going to be 4th and 6 at the Missouri 31. White bunches 3 on the wide side of the field, and he calls an audible at the line. Here comes the pressure underneath and available. Rankins, big first down inside the 15. Look out. Will it be 7? Yes, touchdown Oklahoma.
Jason White catches the Missouri Tigers in a zone blitz, and that's what's going to allow Rankins to come across the field underneath, and no one really catches him. You see the defense here going to come in. This is the blitz side here, and watch Rankins come across. No one is accounting for him, and he runs around the corner. Then he's going to make some plays here on his own, running through 1 tackle, running through a 2nd tackle, a 3rd, and a 4th for the score.
Well, Mitchell missed, but Washington should have had him. That was a blown tackle by their starting quarterback, Calvin Washington. DeCarlo for a 14-point lead. Oklahoma on 4th and 6. It paid off. Not putting pressure on their place kicker DeCarlo and going for it.
Jason White got a good job by his offensive line and his running back picking up that zone blitz, and then Rankins showing he's got some ability after the catch as well, breaking some tackles and making a big play.
So Juwan Rankins into the end zone. That's his 5th score of the season. You mentioned it. They get everybody involved.
Jason White, you got to give him credit as well, throwing the football, but he audibled at the line of scrimmage into this play. He changed the protection. He knew that the blitz was coming. They picked it up nicely, and hey, we're going to blitz. We're going to take advantage of it, and they do on that play.
So our Jiffy Lube scoring drive, again, a drive that took barely 2 minutes. The last touchdown drive, 2 1/4 off the clock. This one, 1:54. 6 plays, 82 yards. And they convert on 4th and 6 on the touchdown toss to Rankins. But a good call, as you mentioned, because Missouri was in the zone blitz and playing soft underneath coverage.
Yeah, you commit 5 to the rush or 6, and you're going to give up some underneath zones, which they do on that crossing pass, and they exploit them very, very easily.
Mitchell and Roberson back deep for the Tigers, waiting for the DeCarlo kick. And Mizzou gets some points, even if it's only 3 before the break. They've got 1 timeout on the board. It is going to be Roberson. And Roberson taking himself down across the 20. So he's out to the 23-yard line. Field position-wise, it has really belonged to Oklahoma for the most part here in the first half. Missouri deep in their own territory too often. Twice they've started at their own 20, at their own 24, the 12, and now back at their own 23.
And I don't think you need to be conservative here either. I think you need to come out and play football, try to make some plays offensively. Plenty of time to move the ball down the field. Hey, you want to get another scoring opportunity if possible. Missouri does going in before the half. 2.5 minutes to go left in this 2nd quarter.
Abram, the only one in the backfield, and the quarterback Brad Smith calling his own number. Horsecotter is clotheslined at the 27 by Lynn Magruder for the defensive tackle. He's a junior from Las Vegas and also a transfer from the Volunteers program at Tennessee.
Yeah, good addition to this football team, and good speed too by the big guy tracking Brad Smith down.
Now Missouri needs some points going into the locker room, a little confidence. And you brought up an interesting one that we talked to Gary Pinkel about. After the Kansas loss, he had a meeting with his leadership group. We'll get to that in just a moment. Now Smith again. hunted down very quickly by Dan Cody, who's had a sensational first half. But Gary Pinkel told us, he said, we wanted him to go out there and not worry about grades and making mistakes, but instead just make plays.
Well, Gary Pinkel is a very detail-oriented coach, and hey, they grade on a lot of different things on that football team. Production, performance, what you're supposed to do on every single play. And they have a grading system. They really teach that grading because they have everyone accountable. And some of the players were having to worry about doing the right things instead of just playing football. And they wanted to get that turned around. They started it last week and wanted to continue it again here against the Sooners.
Mizzou needs 8, and it should have been intercepted. Throwing into double coverage, it was almost picked off by Straight. Outlaw was there, but there were 3 around him, and they're really duped. Young Brad Smith into that throw.
Well, Brad Smith throws one here into the heat of the defense, and Derek Straight, hey, this is one he'd catch a bunch of times. He's an excellent athlete, got good hands, and he knows he let one get away. They're trying to get Darius Outlaw behind him.
So now an opportunity as Perkins waits for the Gosler punt. An opportunity for more points for the #1 team in the nation. Wobbler trying to keep it away from Perkins, but will get it on one hop. And look out again. There he goes. Only the punter back, and he's taken care of. Perkins has just tied the NCAA record with his 7th return for a touchdown. Bob Stoops knows about that record. You could tell by the smile on his face. And the wide receiver, Mark Bradley, took care of the last man for Antonio Perkins.
Just a huge play. I tell you, when you have someone like Antonio Perkins returning punts for your football team, trying to punt away from him, trying to get the ball out of bounds, but nope, not going to do it. And Antonio Perkins takes it right into the heart of him. And the defense, the return team does a great job of setting up the return here. And Antonio Perkins just knows how to read that field in the return. Puts up a record goal.
So the punt return for a touchdown for Perkins, a 69-yarder. And it's now all of a sudden mushroomed with 21 unanswered points. We talked about the second quarter. The Sooners have dominated their opponents this year, and it continues.
And I talked about Missouri not being conservative offensively, and they didn't get a first down, so they had to punt. And say there's danger lurking when you have to punt to Antonio Perkins. He's capable of making a big play, and certainly does so here.
So Oklahoma didn't have to use their timeout, did they?
No, not at all. We got a minute to go here. They're going to kick off deep, and interesting to see what Missouri's going to do here. Just try to play it close to the vest. Coming out offensively.
They start him young around here, and I don't blame them. I went down there and bought some shirts for my boys, and I'll tell you, it was packed. You couldn't move in that store today.
Joel, it was 10-10 about 5 minutes ago in this quarter.
Doesn't take long, especially when the game's here in Norman. How good a thing do they have going with Bob Stoops. And you know how much this game means to Joe Castiglione, the athletic director here, who spent almost 2 decades in the athletic department of the University of Missouri. It means just a little bit.
It sure does. We saw Joe before the game, came up and talked to us.
Good man, and the reason that Bob Stoops is here, Joe Castiglione brought him in. Made sure Kelvin Sampson stayed around as well. The up man bringing it back and weaving for Missouri. That's Derek Ming, the linebacker. He obviously was a former running back for the Webster Grove Statesmen, the way he was handling the football. Michael Thompson, not the former Los Angeles Laker, making the stop. Our Sonic halftime report coming up. Mike Goldberg, Kellen Winslow, Billy Ray Smith. The threesome will have some fun with the last 21 points of this game, and also the 100 points put on the board between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. Who is still perfect so far this season, like Oklahoma? Zach Abram, the only one in the backfield. Mizzou has hardly run the football all today. That is a surprise, which I think to a certain extent plays into the hands of Oklahoma. Abram gets nothing. In fact, he loses a yard.
And Missouri going to be content to sit on this football. But remember, coming out, start the third quarter, the ball's going to go to the Sooners offensively. They deferred to kick. They put their defense out there to go against this Missouri offense, and looks like the Sooner defense is a little fired up. You get the momentum going, and Dvorak and company doing a great job up front now for Oklahoma's defense.
Time of possession has also meant a great deal in this game, hasn't it? That's sometimes one of the most meaningless stats in football. Missouri starting with the ball back at their own 20, 22. Had it for 15.5 minutes compared to a little more than 13 minutes for Oklahoma. Look at the scoreboard. Nash takes it pounding. Holds on to the football. And actually it was Abram behind Outlaw in front of him. Average with the hit. And that should be the final snap of a forgettable second quarter for the Missouri Tigers. And what a run by the #1 team in the nation. They are clearly the best, Gary.
You talked about how well they do in the second quarter, outscoring their opponents this year. Gary Pinkel understands that coming in here. He says, hey, as football team, you need to come talk to me because we're going to have to get some things straight. Defensively, you can't miss tackles. You can't give up big runs on the ground to Oklahoma. They feel like they should be able to take care of their running game.
The second quarter, the last 10 minutes of the first half, a disaster for Missouri. So Oklahoma now with a 21-point lead at the break as we head down to John Radigan. John?
We're here with Coach Bob Stoops, and boy, it was 10-10, and all of a sudden it was 31-10. That was a pretty good burst by your team.
We were fortunate, made some big plays and busted it open. Antonio's just, his play really sparked us. They're doing a good job too. Brad Smith's a heck of a guy. He's making us fight, and so we still got our work cut out for us.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. That is Bob Stoops. His team has excelled to a 31-10 halftime lead. Now let's kick it out to the studios in Los Angeles. It's Mike Goldberg, the Sonic Halftime Report.
Low line drive kick by Matheny, taken by Perkins, who's off balance. Is that a rarity for a guy that just set and tied an NCAA record with his 7th return for a score? He also has a single season mark he tied, shared by 9 now, with 4 touchdown returns so far this season. Our Nissan halftime numbers, well, they don't look that bad, do they? But one number that's not up there, Gary, Missouri 2 for 9 on third downs.
Well, that third down is key, but I think the punt return yardage in this football game, Antonio Perkins, you talked about him, the 1 touchdown, but really more importantly, setting up good field position for Oklahoma to work with. But here a good opportunity for Missouri coming out on their 5-yard line.
So can the Sooners come up with the big plays like we saw in the first half? Works, losing a yard on first down, and that's the way it begins in the second half. Now, as we mentioned before, Missouri wasn't a come-from-behind team in the last couple of years. That's a different story. First half drive chart for the Sooners.
A lot of success. You see the charts here all going to the end zone. That's no doubt about that. And a couple of times they've had to punt the ball, but Oklahoma has moved the ball efficiently. They've only been stopped a couple of times by the Missouri defense. I think Gary Pinkel and company, when they went in the locker room at halftime, they said, hey, guys, we have got to do something to slow this Oklahoma offense down and give our offense a chance to get out there and be efficient, get the ball back in their hands.
Out of his own end zone, here comes the heat. Shot putting it out. Wide open was the wide receiver, Rankins. And make it Clayton instead. 9-3, Mark Clayton, the junior from Arlington, Texas.
Well, just when you think Jason White might actually be sacked in the end zone, looks like there's a chance for a safety for Missouri's defense. He heaves it out to Mark Clayton. You see the coverage on the outside. Mark Clayton got single coverage, and he gets the corner turned around, does a good job working back, and the ball is thrown real well by Jason White.
That's the sophomore Calvin Washington who was working on that side. Interesting throwing motion as well.
You know, he's falling backwards, and he just kind of heaved it out there.
Dante Hickson, the only one in the backfield, and barely tripped up. Barnes got him down low. So Hickson, good yardage though, still about 4, almost 5.
Yeah, but this is huge. Coming off your goal line at the 5-yard line now out to the 26, 27-yard line. That's impressive for your offense. You know, you feel like as a defense, you get them pinned back, you have a chance to stop them. But Oklahoma, here they are. You got a lot of weapons out there. Throwing to Clayton, gets a big play, and now they're moving the football again.
It'll be 2nd and 6. The opening 90 seconds of the second half. Dixon again altering his course. Man, adjusting nicely for the Tigers. James Kinney, the linebacker, their leading tackler from Kankakee, Illinois.
He's the leader of that football team, also on the defensive side for Missouri. Leading tackler, as you say, number 3 in a conference in total tackles. Doing a good job sideline to sideline. Good patience there for the linebacker. Sometimes you have to play behind the running back as they're going lateral. That's what Kinney does that time, makes a nice stop.
3 for 7 on the third down tries in the first half. This is a 3rd and 5 for the Sooners as Jones goes in motion. And a hold, no flag, and it's overthrown. That was Jones, the intended target, the motion man.
There's a flag down on the far sideline, Joel, right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and there was definitely, we saw the hold on the left side of the offensive line where Missouri shot through. Now let's see if somebody lined up offside. Yes, encroachment.
Wow. That's just something you really can't have happen to your football team. That's a mental mistake. You line up in the neutral zone, and Gary Pinkel.
Offside defense, 5 yards.
He's got a very well-coached football team, but this is a play that just kind of shoots you in the foot, brings up another. That may be a first down when they mark that off. They may have to measure this.
Well, we talked about they're number one in the nation in fewest turnovers, and they're among the best in fewest penalties in college football. It is a first down, so instead of getting the ball back, trailing by 21, the drive is alive, and boy, that is an insult.
It really is. You know, both these teams are very efficient. They don't turn the ball over. They're excellent in that area, and no mistakes. That's the thing that these two football teams are based on. Bob Stoops and his football team very efficient, and Gary Pinkel trying to get the same across to his young football team. It takes a little time to develop that kind of mentality where you don't make mistakes in football games, and that means turnovers and obviously penalties.
The 1st and 10 from the 33 for the Sooners. White quickly to Clayton. Clayton into the secondary with another first down. All the way to the 45 of Missouri. Well, if you thought that Oklahoma was going to have a letdown after winning the Red River Shootout last weekend, forget about it. Williams pulls him down. They haven't had a letdown. And this is the 4th consecutive time they have beaten Texas. You look what they did the previous 3 years. Came back and scored a lot of points and beat Iowa State, Kansas State the next 3 weeks.
Well, when you have the talent that they have on this football team, you want to spread the ball around, and guys like Clayton going up making huge plays here for this offense. You know, they just want to be more efficient. They feel like they've got a big goal in their mind. That's to win this conference and possibly that national championship.
Jason White with way too much time will head to the sideline, and he's lucky he got there before taking a shot. So he's short of the first down by a yard at the 46 of Missouri. And do you believe that score last week in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl, 65-13? That was the worst loss ever for Texas in that long series. That was the 98th game between the two teams.
And that game got out of hand very, very early. The Sooners were very well prepared for it. I think Bob Stoops and his football team, they were very focused on that week, and they understand how to focus this football team. And I think that Bob Stoops has done a great job of that. We talk about how well they played after that game, and that's a credit to his coaching staff for getting his team prepared.
We'll take a timeout as Jason White came up to the line. He uses the first in the second half for the Sooners. Just about 3 minutes into the third quarter. Number 1 team in the nation, rolling right along. Well, she's very comfortable, isn't she?
A little comfy there. That's fun.
It has been that kind of night for the Sooners.
Relax.
She does have a good one. Hickson. Oh, what a shot in the backfield. Hickson to finally Missouri with some penetration. They make the most of it. Jackson belted him pretty well.
A little defensive end for this football team. Not the starter defensive end, that's Brian Smith, but Xavier Jackson comes in and makes a pretty good pop there right at the line of scrimmage. Feel like they give him a little better run stopper, and probably going to bring Brian Smith in there, who actually leads his team in sacks. He's got a good speed rush off the edge. Number 39, Brian Smith does, and leads his team in sacks, as I mentioned. And looks like you might maybe thinking that Oklahoma's going to pass the football.
They slide the tight end. Play fake for Hickson. And underneath. The grab is there. Van, the tight end Moses this time. Brought down quickly by Simpson. They only needed 3 for the first down. And they got it just inside the 45. I think he's got enough.
There's no catch, though. They're going to call this that the ball was trapped on the sideline. You see the receiver coming across here, and he's not going to take the deep crosser. He takes the short crosser, but he doesn't catch the football. You see Jason White deliver the ball, and
Simpson did a good job. It does hit the turf. Simpson got to him at a perfect time. And they're going to go for it. On 4th and a little more than 2. No. They'll bring in the punter. So we see Blake Ferguson for the first time today, the junior from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Back deep for Missouri, it's Marcus James. Will he touch the football? No, it's out of bounds. Not a great one by Ferguson. Should be close to the 20. They'll mark it out at the Missouri 18. So the Tigers get it for the first time in the second half. We return to Norman. Back to Norman, and Suzuki presents our Heisman hopefuls. Jason White off to another great start tonight.
Already 226 yards passing and 2 touchdowns for Jason White in this football game. You see Brad Smith and what he's done on the year. B.J. Simmons, obviously great numbers out at Texas Tech. Ran into a buzzsaw, though, at Oklahoma State in that shootout. 100 points scored on Rashawn Woods. I'm sure he had something to do with that.
Missouri gets it as White takes a break. And that was actually the second time they had the punt. And Abram can't get out of the backfield. All over the situation, Rodney Poole. He was slowed down, in fact, injured in the first half, but didn't bother him that time. The Missouri drive chart.
Well, really only one opportunity to get into the end zone here, but a lot of short plays, a lot of short series, a lot of punts in this football game for Missouri, turning that ball back over to Oklahoma. And that's something you don't want to do. You want to get the ball down the field. You have to create some opportunities here, get the ball in good field position. Gary Pinkel's bunch has not gotten that done in that first half.
Let's see now if the Big 12's Offensive Player of the Week, Brad Smith, can get something going here. Little indecision at the outset. And will they call it a completion? No. Now, Sean Coffey tried to get it inbounds, a sophomore from Cleveland. But it's going to be incomplete. Man, it's going to bring up third and about 11 or 12. Well, how big was that win for the Tigers last week over the Nebraska Cornhuskers? No current Tiger player was alive the last time that Mizzou had defeated Nebraska. You got to go back to 1978, 24 consecutive losses to Nebraska. That puts everything into perspective. Well, what Gary Pinkel has done with this program.
They brought it a long way, and the win against Nebraska, no matter how you do it, it's just huge for that football team. They're trying to build on that momentum from a week ago, but running up against the #1 Sooners, that's not going to be an easy task.
And you really don't want to use your timeouts this early in the second half when you're trailing by 21, but that's the case now for Mizzou on 3rd and a dozen deep in their own territory. So 10:37 to play in the third quarter. Gary Pinkel knows when Brad Smith comes over, he's talking to the franchise. That's obvious, so it's not like he's going to question the decision. He's going to ask him why he did it.
Oh, he wants to get the communication,
without a doubt,
straightened out between he and the signal caller from the sideline, getting the plays in on time, and just something you have to have more time getting up the line of scrimmage. Brad Smith has the ability to audible, get his offense in the right play, whether they're running it or throwing the football, and it's not just plays, just time just run out on him, so he takes the time out. And as you said, Joel, that could be costly. You never know what could happen in the football game later on, and might need that extra timeout.
And Missouri does have 3 come from behind wins. Well, Oklahoma's lucky. They've got Bob Stoops here and a national championship program in football, but they also have an unbelievable basketball program with a quality person as their leader in Kelvin Sampson, and he's downstairs with John Radigan. John?
Yeah, we're thrilled to be talking to Kelvin Sampson, who got the basketball season officially started today, right, Kelvin?
First day of practice. Everybody's geared up, ready to go. Should be a fun season, John.
You guys have 3 years in a row now won the Big 12 tournament, and you went to the Elite 8 last year. You've been to Final Fours. What do you guys do for an encore? Just keep it going?
You know, I think the biggest challenge about trying to stay at a certain level is just keep improving and getting better. And that's what we're going to try to do. You know, we're losing some tremendous seniors. Hollis Price era is over, but you know what? It's an opportunity for another group of kids to step up and accomplish some things.
What do you think about this football team? They're awfully good, huh?
They're ridiculous. Their offense is as good as the defense. Their defense is as good as the punt return team. I mean, they're like Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
They're the best in almost every facet in the country.
I gotta think you could figure out a way to use Antonio Perkins, right? I mean, I know we don't punt in basketball, but this kid's an NCAA record holder.
You know what we should do is, like during timeouts when we need to get the crowd fired up, is kind of punt one to him from one end to the other and let him return it. That'll get them going.
That would. That'd fire the crowd up. They're fired up down here, and they're excited about basketball too. That's Kelvin Sampson, guys. Back up to you.
All right, John, give him our best downstairs, please. He's an old friend. Got to know Kelvin long before he got here when he was the coach for the Cougars at Washington State University for 8 seasons. And now Perkins with the midfield stripe down the sideline. They finally shut him down, but he still gets about 12 on the return to the Missouri 38. I don't think we can sum it up any better than Coach Sampson just said when John asked him about this football program. He goes, they're ridiculous.
Pretty good analogy. You talk about the offense, the defense, the punt return team, just, every facet of this football team is just absolutely one of the best.
He laughed when he brought up Perkins. Could you use him? Because he finds a way to score. Our Corona trivia, which head coach holds the modern record for most consecutive wins by an NCAA 1A school? And that borders on the ridiculous as well when we show you that answer. So now, at the Missouri 38. White. Too tall. Trying to get it to his wide receiver. And actually put Moses out there, or check that. It was Peoples. He hasn't looked for Peoples all day. Big, tall guy. When you look at some of the other wide receivers here that are 5'9", 5'11", Peoples at 6'1", 190. And he missed the first 2 with an injury. The last 4, he's caught 10, but it's taken a while to get him involved in the offense. Missouri went 3 and out with a punt. Now, straight field position again. Nothing there for Works. And Works coming off a career best 112 yards last week against Nebraska. Well, I think it's a pretty easy question, but do you remember how many Bud Wilkinson won in a row? That's why I say ridiculous.
That is a tremendous number.
That's incredible.
47 straight victories, 53 to 57 here. He had a way about him to get things done, and none better in the consecutive win category.
They were spoiled, and all of a sudden then they expected so much. Well, Bob Stoops has brought that program here in Norman back. Well, trying to get Peoples involved. It was a throw barely off the mark, right on the sideline, and it may have been a catchable one for Peoples.
It was a tough ball to catch out there, but I think it's a good job by Missouri defensively. At least they're stopping this offense and gonna bring the seldom used Blake Ferguson back out there again.
Marcus James waiting for the punt from Blake Ferguson. This is only going to be his third. Gonna get it out of bounds inside the 10. Now it's going down the middle and into the end zone. So Missouri gets a break, and their defense, as you mentioned, do come up big. The defense stops them after they started with the ball at the Mizzou 38. Tigers still down, though, by 21. On the latest stats, chats, and more with SBC Yahoo DSL. If you need faster, log on to SBC.com. College football today for more info. Well, nice to know my tickets were used.
That's your crew down there?
I love it. It's a warm night, fortunately, for them. Brad Smith on the play fake has plenty of time, and it's behind Darius Outlaw. He was available. Well, another record crowd here. Tonight, they've got 83,327 at Gaylord Memorial Stadium. That breaks the attendance record they set back in September when UCLA was here. And Perkins only took 3 back for touchdowns. Yeah. Did you ever think that the Cotton Bowl in Dallas would be a home field advantage for the Oklahoma Sooners? It's turned out that way.
It seems that way over the last 4 years for sure.
Battling, struggling, past the 23. Nash. Maybe 3. Lehman all over him with Everidge. So now another third down where Missouri was miserable in the first half. They're now for third down tries for the game, 2 for 10.
Going against this defense, Missouri is, and defense has all these stars out there. Teddy Lehman, number 11, the linebacker. Brandon Everidge coming up making that play, and some new players in there. Dante Nicholson coming in this year. There's just really not anywhere to attack on this Oklahoma defense. When you watch tape against this team, there's no holes, there's no weaknesses, and you just got to pick some spots and hopefully you get something going.
On the cross, oh, what a shot on the wide receiver as Umboga got popped by Everidge.
Well, Brandon Everidge, the free safety, one of the biggest hitters from that free safety position in the country. Watch him come up, and when he reads the quarterback, he's going to step up and go bingo right there in the shoulder pads. The ball was incomplete, but still continues forward and makes a pretty good hit. Good coverage that time by Brodney Poole as well.
So another punt coming up for Todd Gosler, who's done a good job. It had been Brock Harvey punting from Missouri, but the punting unit was having their problems. And now it's going to be out of bounds. Good field position beyond the 40 coming up for Oklahoma. They should put it out just outside of the 45.
A little boo here from the crowd because they want Perkins to have a chance to return that ball, but Missouri smartly just punted out of bounds and punted away from that young man. He is tremendous running that football back.
And Oklahoma is going to have it at their own 45. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader tomorrow. It all starts with America's #1 pregame show. Then how about the Packers looking to rebound from a heartbreaking loss against the Chiefs? They are going to take on the Rams in St. Louis. That's a good one. Then Warren Sapp will be skipping through the opponent's warm-up line. Fox looks to shut down Terrellone to the 49ers. It's tomorrow, Fox NFL Sunday. Clayton, boy, I wish I could stop like that. I think I'd break an ankle if I tried. He's down inside the 45 to the 43 near the 42. Not a bad stop.
Well, he can stop and start like the best as any of them out there. Jason White just gets it out to one of his go-to guys, and Clayton, the leading receiver here for this football team, just shows that he can make yardage after the catch. Watch the commit there by the defense. They all overrun him, and he just stops and starts, goes again.
Now, Mark Clayton, 6 catches, 105 yards. His 7th career 100-yard receiving day. They set it up on the outside for Works. Works has not been able to get off like he did last week against Texas. Harrington in on that hit.
It looks like they're taking a look at Brad Smith on the bench here. And want us to take a look inside of there and see what's going on with Brad, but hopefully he's okay and get back in the football game. You talk about Works and his production, you know, just he and Keywan Jones have, you know, kind of split time out there. Now you add Dante Hicks into the mix for this football team. 3 running backs prominent in the attack for the Sooners.
Hickson again on that slight delay. It's worked all day. He's spun around. But he's got a first down all the way to the Missouri 32. Well, Missouri capitalized on mistakes by Nebraska last week. Oklahoma has not cooperated. They have not put the ball on the ground. Points off turnovers were critical for Missouri last week. They had 5 turnovers from Nebraska, and that was converted into 21 points.
Well, and your defense has to create those situations, too. You've got to be smart. You've got to pick your spots, create turnovers. Oklahoma, smart football team, very poised. They know how to win. They know how to protect that ball. They haven't turned the ball over as well. So, you know, 2 teams that know that turnovers are key in the game, and neither one of them really making those mistakes.
Works in there, and now White goes down. A glancing blow.
Well, he just tried to outmaneuver the rush and stepped inside and tripped up. And
looks like Russ Bell got him, the senior from Jefferson City, Missouri, as he put an arm out on his way by.
He's going to come right by the play action pass, and the running back Works doesn't hit him, and he steps up in the pocket and might have tripped over somebody. I don't think anybody really even touched him.
So it's a loss back at the 39, a loss of 7. And right now the clock is going to be a big opponent for Missouri as it continues to roll down by 21. But they've had it twice, and they have not been able to pick up the first down yet in the second half. White again setting up the middle screen. There's Works. And a good open field tackle. Outstanding play out of the secondary for Missouri. Sherdanya Mitchell. And it's almost the 35-yard line where it's going to be 3rd and long.
Well, you think you're going to have good play design here. It's going to be the screen play. You're going to see the blockers come out and going to get out in space right here in this whole area. But watch this open field tackle. Sherdanya Mitchell comes in and makes a nice play underneath and trips up the back as he comes out there. Good job by Mitchell reacting inside and making a play here for Missouri.
5.5 and counting left in the 3rd quarter. Neither team has scored so far, and now a second time out in the second half has been used by Jason White and Oklahoma. So that's something we've not seen early this season. Clock management, well, usually it's great for Oklahoma. They don't have to worry, though, up by 21. Well, that'll always be the case, though, down the road. We return to Norman with 5:23 to play in the 3rd. Been a quiet scene over there, a very long day at the yard, as they say, for those Missouri Tiger fans. But I'll tell you, for 83,000 plus scary reasons, it's a quiet ballpark tonight.
Not really into it. I don't see a whole lot of enthusiasm here with these Sooner fans. I think they're sort of waiting for that next big play.
Well, when you average 48 points per game and you're stuck on 31 for a while, complacency sets in. Now on 3rd and long, White out of the gun. Pocket holds up well. Little dump off, and Works won't get there. Tried, not for a lack of effort, at the 25, and a field goal try will come up. Kinney led the way from Mizzou.
Bring about a 4th and 2. And decision time here for Bob Stoops. Kick the field goal.
I'm surprised he doesn't want to give DiCarlo an opportunity here.
No, they're going to go for it. It looks like they're rolling that offense back out there. Jason White's going to get another snap here. Trying to get the ball downfield to get that first down, and dumps it down to Works. Good tackling here by Missouri, just converging to the football.
Carlo's done a great job this year. He's 6 for 6 beyond the 40, but they're not going to give him a try at a 42, 43-yarder. Instead, 4th and 2, and why not? They get the first down. It's Rankins. Well, it's interesting when you've got a 4th and 2, there's no press coverage.
Well, what you do here is you spread the defense out. You put 5 wide receivers out in the passing game, and go ahead and find one that's open. You got number 3 right here, just on a quick slant. You see the cushion you have right here, and good job that time by Jason White, just picking the open guy and drilling it in there.
Yeah, he needs 2, and you're 6-7 off the line. Makes it easy. So first down at the 17 for Oklahoma. They stay in the shotgun formation. Good pocket protection and a drop. Clayton had a score. So Jason White put it right there. Clayton let it get into his body. And with 4:09 to play in the 3rd, it looked like it was 38-10, didn't it?
You look at a quarterback and how he delivers the football, and an experienced quarterback is going to try to turn the safeties in the defense Jason White does a good job of looking to his right on that play, trying to pass the ball to his left. He sets the defense up well, throwing it to the right side, to the left side of the field, but he looks now on the right. Look at his shoulders, how he fakes, and then comes back to the left side, trying to drill it in there. The ball just dropped by Clayton.
Works, sprinting inside the 15, tripped up near the 13. And now another third and about 5, almost 6. So the little things Jason White has been doing.
Yeah,
that's why
really
he's so successful.
Improved his game tremendously, able to do those little things. Those are the things that slow a defense down a step, which gives your offensive receiver an advantage. And Jason White throwing the ball exceptionally well this year. And really impressive about him is only 3 interceptions on the year.
As you said, one was a throwaway at the end of the half. And now third down with more than 5. White with options, including Works on the circle and almost intercepted. Well, that was the read, and Jason Simpson saw it like we did. And we'd like to welcome those of you joining us down in the South as the Oklahoma Sooners, the #1 team in the nation, scored 21 points of the final 10 minutes of the first half. It was tied at 10. Sooners lead at 31-10. And now they try to get the first points by either side of the second half with a 30-yard field goal coming up for Trey DeCarlo, a sophomore from Carrollton, Texas, already 12 for 13 on the season. And it's off the upright and through. It's been that kind of night. Anything they want, it goes for Oklahoma on their home field in Norman. I thought I heard him call bank shot. I don't know about you. I think he said he wanted to use 2 cushions, though. So DeCarlo with the 30. Oklahoma leads it 34-10.
Go up off that left post. Bang. Got the flag too, Joel.
So Trey gets it, and Yvonne DeCarlo would be proud as well. An 11-play, 42-yard drive taking almost 5 minutes off the clock, and as if Oklahoma needed it, averaging 48 a game. They get it, trying to go to 7-0. And supposedly in the BCS now, margin of victory doesn't mean anything, right? Sure.
Sure. They're you know what, the voters, that's what it means, you know, how those guys are going to vote in those other polls. And I think they look at those scores and what kind of a margin of victory you're going to have against good football teams. Obviously, the huge win last week against Texas, that's one that's going to ring a little bit throughout this season. And a good effort again here against Missouri tonight.
Scored 65 on a quality opponent like the Texas Longhorns. It comes over to the near side, and it is going to be in the end zone. Mitchell will stay there, and Missouri will have it for the second consecutive time at their own 20-yard line. Joel Myers, Gary Reasons, John Radigan, who is, I'm told, leading right now in the voting in the second half for Homecoming King.
He just might make it. He had the scepter. We'll just wait for get a crown on.
And he had no margarine, did he? John Radigan, we'll find him. We'll see if he actually won. But I don't know if there's any pregnant Chads available. From the 20, 1st and 10. Missouri looking for their first down of the second half. And a short pickup. A little toss underneath, going to Umboga. Now John's being protected right now for his own security, because the voting has become that intense. So now past the 22, near the 23. Why do I feel like we're in Hollywood in an awards ceremony and they're protecting the votes?
Well, they've got a lot of things going on. There's homecoming here. Take a look at what's going on in this quarter. 83 yards total for Oklahoma and Missouri. Zilch. That's that defense. Oklahoma's defense is just good. They're just tremendous. Up front, the front four, the linebackers, the secondary.
We talked about it earlier. Number 3 in total defense in the nation. Missouri's found that out in the second half. A little bubble screen over the middle is dropped. Tried to run before he had the football. Darius Outlaw. It's been that kind of night ever since the 10-minute mark.
But it looks like the red shirts are going more toward the screen than anybody. Look at Teddy Lehman. You see Dvorak there trying to divert the pass, and everyone knows that what's coming up here. It seems like that they know the play before it's called. That defense is reacting so quickly.
So Missouri 2 for 10 on their third down tries. Face. And 2 for 11 actually. Face. A 3rd and 7. And it's batted right back into the face as Dante Nicholson read the eyes of the quarterback all the way. A strong safety, a junior from Walnut, California. There is a flag at the end of the play.
Take a look here. Dante Nicholson rushing inside and just jumps up and right in the passing lane. Good vertical there. You'll see a little extracurricular activity right there and a flag thrown. It's a long-range discussion.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the defense. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
So that is how Missouri picks up their first down of the second half with 12 minutes gone in the third quarter. We got really intense guys on the sideline when you look at Bob Stoops and Gary Pinkel. And he thinks the game is tied right now in his mind. You know that, and I know that.
He coaches like it's 0-0. You got to get every play to win. Win every single play, every single snap, every chance you're out there. He's not going to have it any other way. And Gary Pinkel, there's no difference there.
So they move the football up to the Missouri 37 near the 38-yard line. And see if the Tigers can take advantage of it. Well within 17 with a touchdown. They can't settle for field goals now. Brad Smith on his own. And head hunting out of the secondary. It was Brandon Everidge with another flag down to the play, and that's why you saw Smith go low real quickly.
Well, Brandon Everidge come up from his free safety spot in there trying to get the big hit on Brad Smith, and Brad spun away from him. Brandon Everidge almost came up empty, but I think he got a glancing blow, and there's another flag on the play.
Illegal block below the waist. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
So it'll be 1st and 20 for the Tigers. Mizzou came into the game 5-1, number 24 in the nation in one poll. And trying to match up for the second consecutive week with the top 10 team after they beat Nebraska, who was 10th ranked last week, 41-24. It's back at the Missouri 29. Smith after the play fake. Little crossing pattern. Umboga made a miss. Got about 13. Make it a dozen up to the 40 before he's tripped up by Wayne Chambers.
That's a good play for the Missouri offense, getting some of that penalty yardage back and brings up a 2nd and 8 situation. That's positive. It's 12 yards, and he'd get some more of those plays strung together.
You know, Chambers makes that stop, and he's the one who took over, don't forget, for Lance Mitchell. They lost one of their leaders, the middle linebacker, earlier this year. They don't miss a beat, do they? Now 2nd and 8. A bullet well behind the tight end McCoy. So now it's going to bring up 3rd 8 from the 40-yard line. And that's one area where they've really capitalized this year. Last year, only a pass and a half and 15 yards to the tight ends, the whole group. This year, it's up to almost 5 catches a game for better than 50 yards.
Well, when you have productive tight ends, it's something else the defense has to account for. And doing a good job of working the ball to those guys this year is Brad Smith.
From the 40, and we have found John Radigan. He's going to join us momentarily. Did he make a miss? No. The catch across the 45 is Derek Strait. Brings down Clint Matthews, the other tight end. And they call him Sweets Radigan. I guess he's upstairs once again. John Radigan.
Yeah, I am surrounded by greatness this time, though. It's a Norman, Oklahoma native. It's James Garner of Hollywood fame. And you were honored on the field earlier. How much did that mean to you?
Well, that means quite a bit to have, you know, in your hometown and have, you know, your university. I have an honorary doctorate from Oklahoma University. And of course, I've been a fan all my life, so it meant a lot to me.
And how much does it mean for you to see this team as resurgent as it is right now?
Boy, there's something. They're a great ball club. I'm very proud of them. When Jason White went down a couple of years ago, I said, oh boy, we're going to be hurting. He's back. It's great the way they're playing. And, you know, Coach Stoops is one of the best coaches I've ever seen. He's in the Bud Wilkinson era.
How often do you get back here?
Oh, I get back once, sometimes twice a year. Depends on how much I'm working.
Yeah.
But I still have family here, and I come back to see them. And I got a lot of old friends. Last night, I turned around, and there's 6 of my old football players from high school standing there. Had a great time.
Oh, that's great. That is James Garner, guys. Who knew Jim Rockford is a big-time Sooner fan? Back to you.
Ronaldo works. Weaving his way effectively out of the backfield for a first down after a blown punt by Missouri.
Missouri tries to do the fake punt on 4th down, and they don't come up with the first down, so the ball is turned over on downs to Oklahoma at their own 47-yard line. And here we go right again. Oklahoma getting a good run there by Works and another first down.
So pretty nice average for Ronaldo Works. Very quietly today, 14 for 86 with a score. It's a first down at the Missouri 35. And that fake on the punt didn't even come close. So Missouri desperate. Didn't make any difference. Oklahoma was ready. And Works has popped right in the original line of scrimmage in the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
You know, when James Garner makes a comment, he says that Bob Stoops, he likened him to a young man that he knew probably years ago, and Bud Wilkinson at this program, and how well that he has done. And hey, Bob Stoops has got this football team ready to play. He does that every single week. They have a huge win against Texas, last week, and you're going to think, hey, are they going to let down against Missouri? No, they just pour it on. And what he has done with his program, he has found a way to get his players motivated week in and week out, and there's no letdown in their production.
Take a screen one way, go across the other way. Nothing out there for Will Peoples, though. Good play in the secondary by Quincy Wade. It was a nice comparison, though, by James Garner, who's seen a lot of Oklahoma football in his day. He's not too far off target, is he?
No, I don't think he is. I think that Bob Stoops has shown that he has the tools. He's got a great staff. These guys work well together. You've got Kevin Wilson and Chuck Long offensively, co-offense coordinators, and Brent Venables and his brother Mike Stoops on the defensive side. That staff, I think, is one of the key things that make this football team is as powerful as it is, because they work so well together.
So the Sooners with the only points of the second half. And it was a field goal of 30 yards by Trey DiCarlo. We'll come right back to Norman, Oklahoma, the #1 team in the nation, the highest scoring team in the land, leading the Missouri Tigers 34-10. Sooners have it in Missouri territory and deep in Missouri territory, but they've got a 3rd and long coming up at the Tigers 35 of the first snap of the final 15 minutes. Welcome back to Norman once again. Joel Myers, Gary Reasons, John Radigan, and Jason White looking for 9. Will he get there with Mark Clayton? No. Wade did it again, chased him down. And our SBC game summary through 3. Brad Smith has been shut down effectively in the second half, Gary.
Yeah, really hasn't got the numbers going or got that offense moving, but Jason White, very efficient. A couple of touchdowns to the 261 yards. That's just Jason White-like numbers. And Antonio Perkins, I think that's one of the difference makers in this football game. His 7th career punt return for a touchdown. It ties that record, and I guess the field position that he's been able to create for this offense has just been great.
Forget about DiCarlo. They're going for it again on 4th and 6. And White bunches 3 on the wide side. He's got 4 in the pattern. Plenty of time, but it's deflected at the line, and Missouri holds. So Mizzou will get the ball back outside of their own 30.
Well, he had receivers open, trying to get him on the crossing routes. 2nd level receiver. I don't know, was that ball tipped, Joel, or was it slip out of his hand?
It was definitely, I thought it was deflected at the line of scrimmage, the way it squirted in the air.
Let's take a look at the delivery here, and Jason White's going to throw the ball, and yeah, right there in front. Ellison does a good job of getting his big hands up there and knocks it away. And that's a stop from Missouri. It's something positive for him. So here we've got a chance with Brad Smith to get going again.
And even for carryover next week, just get some points here in the 4th quarter. They're down by 24. Nash takes a pop, but still spins free for a couple of extra across the 35. Up to the 36. This is their speed back and a good-looking running back, Damian Nash, who blew out his knee, missed basically better than a year. And he doesn't look like he slowed down at all.
Well, he's going when he gets the tough defense here, this Oklahoma Sooner bunch, and trying to get Nash and Abram running the football. Hasn't been easy tonight for this Missouri football team at all.
So it'll be 2nd and long, a little inside of 7 needed. Nash, Lehman took care of it. A lot of traffic in the middle, though. And Teddy Lehman, the constant there, a weak side backer. And on the Big 12 North, we talked about this with Gary Pinkel in the possibilities of teams in the Big 12 with 2 losses if you have the right wins. Maybe even 2 losses could win in the North.
Well, it's really unprecedented to have 2 losses and win that conference and win the north side of it. You're going to have a little help to get that done.
On the sideline, Outlaw does a good job balance-wise, and Missouri's got their first down of the second half that didn't come by way of penalty. So as we look at that, Kansas State with a loss, Colorado with a loss, Nebraska with a loss in the Big 12 North, and Mizzou.
Well, you want to have your destiny in your own hands. You want to be able to control what happens. So you've got to win football games and win key football games.
The South, I think we're watching the champions right now. Little double move.
Look at Strait.
Is it a pick or is out of bounds? Will they give Strait the pick or not?
I think he's there in bounds.
They still haven't ruled yet. And now they're going to say it is an interception. Derek Strait looked like a wide receiver on the play.
No doubt about it. Got great hands, great body.
And did the receiver stop a little bit?
Well, look at the ball right there. He's got one toe in, catches the ball, has control. That's an excellent interception by Derek Strait.
It looked like the intended target on the double move slowed down and really stopped on his pattern a little bit. So Strait with the pick. And the Tigers, let's face it, they've only had 4 turnovers. 2 came last week against Nebraska, the fewest in the nation. So that's a story, getting one away from them. Defensive player of the week in the Big 12, coming up with his 2nd interception over the last 2. Dante Hickson, the only one in the backfield. Will this play work again? He slowed down. And maybe a yard, if that. Sophomore tailback. They don't even keep the H-back in there much. Runnels. He's the motion man most of the time. As Wade made the hit. Well, will anybody catch Oklahoma? And not just in the Big 12 South, but in the nation. Oklahoma State, a big win by 2 today, 51-49, Gary. Texas bouncing back. And Kansas knocking off Baylor 28-21.
It's a feel-good win there for Mark Mangino.
There's finally a hit for Missouri. Getting in, Michael Harden in the backfield. They have not been able to get to Jason White.
A very clean jersey, Jason White does. Not knocked down a lot in this football game. Has had pretty good protection most of the day. And that time, though, the defense from Missouri making a stop in the backfield, brings up a 3rd and long.
That's only the 2nd sack of the day. And he's not a mobile quarterback, so sometimes you can take your chances if you can beat him on his release.
The Missouri defense coming into this football game, 15 sacks on the year, and they're a pretty aggressive bunch. 63 tackles for loss. They're usually playing in the offensive backfield.
Pocket holds up underneath Works. Can he get to the marker? Across the 40 to the 41, shy by 4. So Works brought down by Williams, the combination of Williams and Kenny. And Missouri ready to get the football back as, let's face it, Oklahoma not exactly opening up the offense at this juncture.
No, they're not just rolling like they were earlier in this football game. And Missouri Tigers doing some things defensively to slow that process down.
So Ferguson, who had only 1 punt in the first half, has his 3rd now in the second half, and we've got a flag from the umpire.
Yeah, it's going to be legal motion against
Prior to snap, ball start offense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
It really has been almost an error-free game, though. The turnover situation, we talked about how few the penalties that we've seen from both squads. There have not been many.
And
Bob Stoops, we told you it's scoreless as far as he's concerned.
He's arguing about the 5-yard penalty. One of his guys raising up there. And
see, that kind of attitude, though, when they see their coach like that, late in the game, winning by 24, that carries over. That the whole personality of the team. Blake Ferguson. And James will stay away from it as it's grabbed near the Missouri 28. So the Tigers get it back. Can they get some points in the second half? We'll find out as we return to Norman, Oklahoma. Stoops. Legitimate argument just before we broke away. So the umpire came over, the field judge came over, and the linesman right next to him got a bit of a laugh out of it.
Well, the umpire throws the flag, and he sees the adjustments by the punt team, and they're all in 2-point stances, which means they can stand up, they can readjust, and they point out their blockers. And the umpire throws a flag, and he sees he's calling a false start there on the offense, but really they have a chance they can do that. And Bob Stoops just wants to make sure that this referee group doesn't make that same penalty again later in this football game.
Or down the road. Just to make his point for later in the season as Abram is bulldog down. All over the play is third down, the defensive end.
You talk about being intense. Bob Stoops definitely intense, and that one little thing, you never know, it may happen in this football game or later on down the road, as you talk about, Joel. If you get one call, it's a 5-yard penalty. It could be critical in a football game, and that's something he doesn't want to have happen again. That's just something he'll talk to the officials about.
Point of contention. That's why this program's in the position it's in right. Details. Stoops all over. Now Smith underneath to the tight end, McCoy. He's chopped down. Short of the first down by 3. Dante Nicholson making the hit. So it's at the 35 for Missouri, and the best thing right now for both teams, the clock is moving, and hopefully everybody gets out of here healthy. We might not see Jason White back in the game. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back. They have played Paul Thompson this year, the sophomore from Leander, Texas. Third and 3 for the Tigers. And Brad Smith will get the first down. He just got it out there across the 38.
And he got it with his hand. He reached out. Teddy Lehman had a good tackle on it, but Brad Smith reached his left hand across the line that gives him a first down.
There's only 3 of those right now for the Tigers so far. So that goes back to what a great job they've done.
Teddy Lehman plays off the block, and watch Brad Smith at the end of the play how he reaches his left hand out going forward, and that's going to allow him to get the first down.
3 first downs in better than 20 minutes of the second half, Gary. His defense has really adjusted nicely after giving up 10 points and better than 200 yards in the first half, as there is a flag down. It'll cost Missouri this time. So take it back to outside the 33. What a frustrating day to be tied at 10. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half, and then it all evaporated for Mizzou.
Yeah, 21 unanswered points there, and then coming here into the third quarter, kind of a slow start for both teams, but the 3 points now for the Sooners in the third quarter with the DeCarlo field goal. Oklahoma's got this game well in hand, and Missouri has not really challenged in the second half at all.
Smith taking a shot from Nicholson. Nicholson's got his money's worth. He's going to sleep real well tonight. He may sleep all day tomorrow.
He's one of those players that's all around the field making plays. They line him up as more of a linebacker now. They've been playing a 4-3 defense here at Oklahoma for a long time, but Mike Stoops has decided that they want to go with more speed on the field, and they'll bring Dante Nicholson in there as kind of a linebacker spot. So it's kind of a 4-2-5 alignment. Dante Nicholson is making play after play here for this team tonight.
Tommy Harris trying to apply the heat. And out of the reach of the wide receiver with a flag down on the play, trying to get it to Sean Coffey. Derek Strait coming up from behind. Did he get there early, though? Now, the official felt that way.
Pass interference, defense, spot foul, automatic, first down.
So Missouri with a fresh set of downs with 8:49 left.
A couple of first downs here. You're going to see crossing here on the back of the screen. You see the contact, Brandon Everidge up there, and that's Derek Strait a little bit early. And the flag comes in.
Seen that both sides now. A good call by the officials. Identical play. One against Missouri earlier. Brad Smith. Look at the maneuverability of this young man. Now the home run ball. He's got his man. And Outlaw had beaten Strait by a step. It was just off the mark.
See how effortlessly Brad Smith threw that football. As you said, the maneuverability, getting away from the rush and then setting his feet. Throws the ball easily 60 yards on that strike into the end zone.
And a real contrast in throwing motions between the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's pretty slippery, too, in that backfield. You can't get a hold of him, and he sees pressure. He just has a knack for getting away from people. You see the rush break down there, can't get him, and he just zings it out there. And this ball's easily thrown 60 yards into the end zone. And looks like pretty easy effort for Brad Smith.
Now it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. You see the bunch over to the near side. And actually spread out. Not a bunch, but 3 on the wide side. Look out. Tommy Harris has done an unbelievable job. It's a dump off. Abram taking a positive when it looked like a negative for the Tigers because of the trouble for Smith. Tommy Harris has one of the biggest motors in this league.
He really does, and one of the strongest players from a defensive line position. Inside 2 technique, defensive tackle here for Oklahoma. Good power move inside. He can get around those offensive guards. He's got a good, he can bull rush them. He's got enough quickness and speed to a little spin move or swim move. Got all the tools. He's going to be a great player. He's going to have a pretty bright future, I think, on Sunday.
You remember when we asked Bob Stoops about him earlier this week, and he goes, gosh, I don't know if anybody's playing better hit his position than Tommy right now. And that's not in the Big 12, but in the nation. Damian Nash in the backfield. 3rd and 3 for Mizzou. A little shadow underneath. Man, it should be enough for the first down, although they put him outside of the 42. He needed to go inside the 43. It will be a first down as Coffee is brought down by Chambers.
Yeah, move the sticks again. It's 3 first downs in a row here for Missouri. And Brad Smith just taking what the defense is allowing him, which isn't a lot, and giving them those underneath routes, and defense is breaking up, making tackles right at the mark there, and almost stopped him short of the first down.
And even that number is a little misleading when it's only 6 on the deficit side for Missouri, because Oklahoma had a couple of drives where they went 80 yards in 3 plays. They didn't need 3rd downs. And Smith in trouble and on his way down. But did they get him by the grill? I think it may have been a face mask. Klein was back there.
Well,
and it may have been a hold and a face mask.
Yeah, Corey Klein with a good move on the outside to see the face mask against the defense. But he just powered through the right tackle, does a good job of getting in the backfield right on.
Incidental face mask, 5 yards from the previous spot. First down, 5.
You'll see Brad Smith. His pressure's going to come from the right side. You see Corey Klein just doing a good job working to the quarterback, and I don't know where the face mask came in.
When you look at the front 4, the starting 4 at least, for Oklahoma, as Klein goes off the field, he's a senior and he's not a starter. He plays behind Tommy Harris, Jackson a junior, Harris a junior, Dvorak a junior, Dan Cody a junior.
Larry Burdine a freshman. So they've got guys, they've got depth, they've got players. It's a bright future here for Oklahoma for some time.
Smith in trouble, and can he get away? He won't this time. Dvorak's there. Dusty's got the 5th sack of the night for the Sooners, and that's tough when you consider how elusive Brad Smith is. They've been able to get to him 5 times.
Well, that's his 2nd sack for himself tonight and 6th on the season. Dvorak doing a good job rushing. He's on the outside on the nose, and he's going to take a good rush there on the left guard, get around him well and get into that backfield. Hey, when you got pressure from just 4 down linemen here on a very speedy quarterback, breaking through there, that's just good front 4 defensive play.
So now it's a sack back at the 46. 2nd and about 14. Smith on the draw, won't be able to get away. How about the speed on the edge by a defensive end that goes at 235, 40 pounds, Jonathan Jackson.
Yeah, Jonathan Jackson comes off the left edge and tracks down Brad Smith on the quarterback draw. Speed rushers, they like to put players with speed on the field. Jonathan Jackson, a linebacker in high school, moved to the defensive line position, get him speed to the defensive end. Able to track down a speedy Brad Smith.
And that's something that Gary Pinkel in the last couple of years has talked to us about on a regular basis, how he's trying to elevate his team's speed.
Yeah, and that's what they do at Oklahoma here. They find good athletes. Doesn't matter what position they play on the field. If they've got speed and talent, they'll find a place for them to play.
And now 3rd and even longer for Missouri. They'll give him that one, but Marcus James can't hang on to it. One of those nights.
I'm not really sure what they were trying to do on that play. 3rd and long situation. They're trying to throw a 5-yard pass to Marcus James, and defense is going to allow them to have that and come up and make the tackle, but Marcus James just to make that grab first.
Well, they were going to go for it on 4th down, maybe get 10 out of it, and then go on 4th and 5. But James doesn't hang on. The frustration continues. The young man is going to be one of the best in the Big 12 over the next 2 years already. A sensational one.
Running away from Perkins again.
As you should do on a regular basis. 5:31. He's already returned 1 tonight. He's tied an NCAA record with 7 on his career. As we continue from Norman, you make the call. And our next tell you make the call with Oklahoma in control. King and Queen candidates, well, That's a beauty there, isn't it?
Well, there's another choice.
Where's Waldo? Oh, how'd you like to wake up with that?
What about this guy right here? You make the call.
He's my king. That's it's unanimous. It's automatic. John Radigan reliving great days in college. Homecoming king. Passage 20. Carrying the football for Oklahoma. It is Dante Hickson.
Dante Hickson's got a lot of work tonight for this football team. Haven't seen a whole lot of Keywan Jones. No. Ronaldo Works been out there quite a bit. Haven't seen Keywan except for short yardage situations. And Dante Hickson, I think they liked what they saw a week ago against the Longhorns.
Why did he go out of bounds though? 34-10. Oklahoma up by 24. From the 23. White on the move, and an interception for the Tigers. Harrington's got it inside the 20, and knocked out of bounds close to the 10.
Only the 4th interception Jason White has thrown this year, trying to hit the crossing route, but good job by the Missouri Tigers capitalizing on it and have a chance here to get another score in this football game.
So they're even in turnovers now after they gave one away on the pick by Strait. And only 4, as you mentioned.
Jason White trying to throw across his body, trying to get receiver coming across. An excellent job of breaking in front.
So Mizzou's going to have the ball at the Oklahoma 10. Believe it or not, Missouri. This is the 15th time they've had the football tonight. The first time they have started with it on the Oklahoma side of the 50. He took the interception by Harrington. New quarterback, Santana Riccio, with a flag down, and Riccio down at the 8. So we saw them looking a couple of series ago at Brad Smith.
There's my captain.
Didn't look like there was an injury on Brad Smith. I think they're just getting Sonny in the game with a chance to put some points on the board. 5 minutes to go here in this football game. Brad's on the sideline there. Sometimes you can learn from the sideline as a quarterback. You're out there seeing things, and tough day going against Oklahoma's defense.
Yes. Illegal motion, offense, 5 yards, replay first down.
So they'll mark it off on the Tigers. There's an injury to the linebacker as well as they're looking at Wayne Chambers for the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, while they take a look at Chambers, we'll come right back to Norman. 5:14 remaining. And the #1 team in the nation on their way to a 7-0 record. Back in beautiful downtown Norman. You know, what a crowd. 83,000+, a record for this ballpark.
And just help Wayne Chambers off their middle linebacker who's been playing for Lance Mitchell, who's out for the season. And we're going to see number 48, Gayron Allen, in the game at the middle linebacker spot here for the Sooners.
So they've never been, but they are now in that middle linebacker position.
They've got some youth and inexperience, and Allen just hasn't played a great deal this year.
Riccio to the tight end. And J.D. McCoy doing a good job moonwalking his way to the 6. Rodney Poole bringing him down along with Perkins. And Perkins, our player of the game, well, he has tied a couple of NCAA records tonight. The one you're looking at is 7th career punt return for a score. That's tying 9 other people in the history of college football at the Division 1A level, and also single season. He's got 4 this year, as 3 came in the one game against UCLA. Outlaw the motion now. Bending it outside, Abram, making Nash rather, going lower. It is Abram. Down inside the 3. Nicholson took him down, so it's going to be 3rd and goal.
What's impressive about Antonio Perkins, back on him and his story, is just that I think that he's got a knack for seeing the field. You know, you get in that zone, you feel what's going to happen, and he's got a feel for that punt return game, and it's pretty special. And then you've got the great athletes that Oklahoma puts out there on their special teams. They put starters, they put good players out there, and it just elevates their level of play, and they want them to succeed on punt returns, and they've done a great job here again tonight.
Abrams stays in the backfield. Now a flag. Looks like it's going to be a dead ball. False start on the offense. So a different cadence in there.
Prior to snap, false start offense.
New quarterback.
5 yards, still 3rd down.
He played earlier this year. Not all that often over the last few weeks, though. And you know what's real interesting while you talk about Antonio Perkins? Why would anybody punt him the football? Why would you punt it to the boundary and just put it out of bounds, take your 40, 42, 43 yards, whatever you can get? It's amazing.
Well, directional punting is an art, and it's not easy to do. Some of these young punters are just trying to get the football off.
Mauricio underneath. Interesting decision there.
There's Allen making a play there coming into the football game.
Kid who just joined us after the injury to Wayne Chambers. So Garen Allen, a junior from Orange, Texas. They do recruit Texas just a little bit.
There's no doubt about that. That game they played last week in Dallas, you know, it's like a recruiting effort going down to Texas and playing well against the Longhorns. They've done it year after year now with Bob Stoops.
Kalamazoo wants some points in the second half. Can't believe it. Michael Atheni's out there. He's already got one field goal tonight. It's up, and it's good. He is 2 for 2 on the evening as he hit a 26-yarder earlier. Another short one here. Let's head downstairs to John Radigan. John?
Hey, guys, I tell you what, one thing we know about Gary Pinkel and this Missouri team, Gary Pinkel will not lose his sense of humor. He's a very funny coach. When we talked to him earlier this week, we talked about how the Oklahoma linebacking crew had been depleted by injury. He says, yeah, no kidding. I'm telling you, if I lost 2 linebackers, I'd have to play my son. Can I get a rim shot here, please? Oh, yeah, no. Hey, Pinkel was all over. Very funny guy when he was talking about how do you block the OU defensive line. He says, I tell you what, I think the best thing we can hope for is that they all get the flu. Can I get a rim shot? He's a funny guy. I guarantee he won't lose his sense of humor. In spite of what is happening here, he'll meet with his counsel, and they'll get it together for next week, guys.
Why do I feel I just saw a remake of Nick Rail in the club car?
Well, they're gonna,
John.
they're going to have to regroup here. They've got another ball game next week against a team that's chunking it around the field quite a bit. Having Texas Tech at Missouri, that's going to be one heck of a football game. And B.J. Simmons and company. So Gary Pinkel and his defensive staff, not only do they have to play, a productive offense here in Oklahoma, but Texas Tech and Mike Leach, they're doing some tremendous things offensively, and they're going to have to contend with them as well.
Perkins is back deep, but it is going to be brought back by Clayton. Clayton doing a good job out across the 25 past the 30, and they'll mark him out of the 32-yard line. Quincy Wade forced him out.
Hold up. Well, we talked about Oklahoma and what they need to do to win this football game. A little bit of a game plan, and I think they've got pretty much on target there. These guys, they've executed very well tonight. We're talking about keeping it balanced. I'm going to give them an A on that. That's a good job there. 33 pass plays, 33 rush. No big plays, only 230 yards. So no room for error, just a turnover there. So I'm going to give them an A on both of those, and this is kind of a wash right here. So good job in what they need to do offensively and defensively, and the turnovers were a wash for this game. So Oklahoma being very proficient and getting the things done they need to do to win football games.
Hickson across the 40 to the 41. I thought it was a pass-failed course. Gradient on the curve.
We have to give them due. Grade where the grade is due.
Final 3 minutes. We already saw Chambers go down. Let's hope that nobody else is nicked up before it's over. Harden made the hit. So you mentioned Texas Tech at Mizzou next week. You can't play a soft zone against Simmons. He'll pick you apart. He only threw for 552 tonight.
And why is Jason White in the football game?
I asked you, why would they bring him back?
I don't know why he's out there. Paul Thompson probably ought to get a couple snaps here late in this game, and not like they're going to try to run up more points and get big plays, but you never know.
He's in there to hand the ball off, you would think. And that's the case once again as Hickson is hit from behind. Brandon Barnes. Sideline to sideline, Barnes has been there tonight.
Yeah, he's been around the ball quite a bit tonight for Missouri, and Hickson also has gotten a lot of work here for this Oklahoma football team.
This has been a quiet crowd, a quiet second half.
Yeah, it really has. The crowd has not been into this game because they really haven't had to. Neither team has really done a great deal here in the second half moving the football.
So they'll let it run down, use as much of the play clock as possible. It's 3rd and 4 for the Sooners. They put it away in the final 10 minutes of the first half with 21 unanswered points. And now the bubble, little screen. And will Clayton get the marker? I don't think so. He's at the 41, near the 42. Nino Williams held on. Well, you'd have to think They'll run one more play, or will they bring the punting unit on? They will. But first, let's go down John Radigan. John?
Hey, guys, quick update on Wayne Chambers. Of course, he left the field on his own power, but he is on the bench right now, and he is hurting. He's in some pain. They're looking at the left ankle, putting lots of ice on it, and it looks as though they will take him for x-rays. He clearly will not return in this game, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for Wayne Chambers.
John will be down for the celebration. By the way, the homecoming celebration for you later tonight. Final minute of play. And one more punt for Blake Ferguson. He's getting his money's worth, isn't he? And into the end zone it goes. So Mizzou will have it at the 20. Ricci will be back out there. And it'll be a 21-point win for the Oklahoma Sooners as they came in even a bigger favorite with only 46 seconds left. Well, let's go back to the game plan for Missouri.
Yeah, we talked about what they need to do, run the football. They haven't gotten that done. Brad Smith on the perimeter, he's done okay, but really hasn't got the numbers that he's used to getting. And they didn't make OU's defense, offense, one-dimensional. So that's going to be probably a D right here for this right there. And then defense, well, that's probably an F because they didn't get anything accomplished against Oklahoma. And find the magic plays. Well, that's some sacks, and Smith a couple of good plays and interceptions, so give them a B+ in that area. But just doing the things they need to do offensively, defensively to win this football game just wasn't the night for Missouri.
Too tall for Riccio's wide receiver. But with that being said, we talked about it briefly, especially during the 21-point explosion. When you consider where this program was 3 years ago, it wouldn't be this close. That's how far they have come under Gary Pinkel. They'll fall to 5-2. So Missouri making strides, but still not there. But they've got 2 more years with Brad Smith, a quarterback, to surround it with more team speed.
Well, their talent level is up. Their experience level is up. Gary Pinkel's system is installed. His staff, they've got some things working. And it takes time to build that continuity that they need on a football team, offensively, defensively, to be a consistent winner out there, or at least a chance to compete in football games. And Gary Pinkel feels like he's making strides in that area.
Damian Nash with the last carry, and will it be the last carry of the game? Now they will take one more snap. On 3rd and long, this should be it. So the #1 team of the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners, now 7-0. Missouri 5-2. Nash put down, and that'll do it. It is 16 straight wins at home for the Sooners over the Tigers. And Bob Stoops and his Oklahoma squad, a 21-point winner on their home field tonight. Our final score once again, Oklahoma 34 and Missouri 13. It was a calm second half, to say the least, for the Oklahoma Sooners. To the credit of Bob Stoops, though, he tried to do some things. He also has a great deal of respect, you can tell, for Gary Pinkel and the Missouri Tigers.
I think he really does. He respects what that man has gone through, and not unlike what he came in here 4 or 5 years ago when Bob Stoops took this job. He knew it was going to take some time, and Gary Pinkel's going to hopefully get his team turned around and do some more good things. The big win they had against Nebraska really tried to set them off this year. But Oklahoma, they have proved again here tonight that they're the best in the football of that #1 ranking.
Downstairs we go. John Radigan.
Yeah, we're with Antonio Perkins, a NCAA record, your 7th punt return for a touchdown. You just always feel like you can take it back to the house, don't you, Antonio?
Yeah, I feel real confident in our unit and the way my men are blocking for me. And I told Jason before the game started, I said, I'm going to give you some field position to take control of the game for us.
Obviously, there was a spurt there where you guys made such big plays in the last 5 minutes or so of that half, and that really won the game for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt real good. Missouri is a real tough team, real good team, and they gave us all they had, and we came out and we had a good fight.
And then in the second half, it was a real fight, but you had enough of a lead to just hold on.
Yeah, second half, we were just trying to maintain our lead, and they fought back, and we fought back with them.
Congratulations, Antonio Perkins. We appreciate it. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners. See if we can grab a little bit more post-game down here. We throw it back upstairs to you guys.
All right, John. So now 22 touchdown passes on the year with only 4 interceptions for Jason White. He was 20 of 34, 278 yards. He did not hurt his Heisman chances at all.
Still on track for that Heisman hopeful.
Well, for Gary Reese and John Radigan, our entire crew here in Norman, Oklahoma, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us. Oklahoma prevailing. They could have won by more. Missouri hung tough, though, in the second half. 34-13. Oklahoma still the dominant team in college football. Coming up next, our college football show, and then tomorrow morning at 9:30, the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show. You've been watching Big 12 football on Fox Sports Net. So long, everybody.